And we are live.
All right. Hello, guys. Welcome back to Olympics on My Mind. It's been more than a month now since we last did our live. And again, same, plenty to talk about. So many qualification processes across the sports happening. But before that, if you can confirm the sound quality is fine or there is some issue. Maybe Kapil, you would also want to
Hmm.
speak first, then they
तेरे
can probably
हाँ
let us know.
या श्री में started right हाँ मेरे यहाँ पे थोड़ी late start हुई है it started fine.
क्या चल रहा है? How is it going?
हाँ मेरा तो बस नॉर्मली चल रहा है ऑब्वियसली तेरे को पता है अप्रैल वाज फिल्ड विद चेस एंड उसके बाद से लॉट ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स हैपनिंग no major events per se. I guess we had a wrestling qualifier, we had an archery world cup, and lot of other small things. We obviously had the shooting trials, लेकिन shooting trials live तो आते नहीं है तो it's mainly just looking at the scores at the end of the day and trying to analyze
That in
score.
itself was a pretty
Disaster, हाँ.
adventurous
Disaster
event
कि
for
they didn't
fans
show
to
or cover. हाँ, that was a disastrous part about it.
waiting for results every day to see क्या outcome रहा.
हाँ बस उसके अलावा वही नॉर्मल चल रहा है बस मजे कर रहे हैं और क्या.
Good,
आप
good.
आप
I
बताओ.
think things are going to heat up pretty soon. जैसे जैसे Olympics आ रहा है, like
हाँ,
for each of the sport will have a final list of you know sports persons qualifying for Paris. कुछ कुछ में तो अभी तक qualification process ही खत्म नहीं हुआ है. तो yes, obviously we are going to talk about all of those. Uh, but before that, I know.
and also I think we should just mention a special mention to everybody who has joined right now. These are like our I guess the most hardcore fans जो IPL मैच छोड़ के भी यहाँ बैठे हैं. So just we should just acknowledge that fact कि IPL का एलिमिनेटर चल रहा है फिर भी
Yeah,
तुम लोग यहाँ पे हो. So that's great.
yeah, and we actually thought about it. It didn't work for either of us. Otherwise, we would have done this stream, on a day where IPL match wasn't there. But it wasn't working out for us, so we had to do it. So yeah, like Kapil said, good to see some of our regulars and some of our usual suspects who are always, there in the chat and keep us going. So thank you for that. And yes, so I was saying, okay, we'll talk about all the sports, but Kapil has been itching to, you saw in his tweet also, he's been itching for a month now. He wants to get it out of his system.
Hmm.
He's been prodding me since a month. लाइव करते हैं. मैं समझ गया था क्यों लाइव करना चाहता है ये, even though we don't have a lot to talk about. So this one is for you, Kapil. Go on. You have your 5-7 minutes. जो तेरे को बोलना है, whatever you want to share. And I know you've dedicated a lot of, you've literally lived in Canadian zone time
Yeah, yeah.
during that entire tournament. So yeah, how was your experience and what do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean Canadian zone time पे ही था मैं. I had talked in the earlier stream also. Honestly, I had expected, when the candidates started, कि I will maybe be able to watch for like 5-6 days और शुरू में start होगा and then it will maybe start getting a little boring because the games are very long और chess obviously पूरा तो समझ में आता है नहीं. थोड़ा बहुत ही आता है. So I had thought कि eventually it will get a little tedious, but it did not. At least for me, it did not. I enjoyed it a lot. For me, it was definitely my best chess watching experience of my life. And I've watched a lot of chess. I've watched Magnus and Vishy's matches also, but Vishy lost, तो वो प्रॉब्लम होती है. तो मुझे डेफिनेटली कैंडिडेट्स में बहुत मजा आया. मेरा पूरा शेड्यूल वो 3 weeks, I think 3 weeks के लिए
Mhm.
वैसे ही चल रहा था. And
Yeah.
obviously I wanted to talk a lot about it, but अब एक महीना हो गया है तो you remember as much as you remember. But yeah, Gukesh was absolutely awesome. Generally, he has always this up and down tournaments, and proof is how he celebrated his victory. Right
Mm.
after candidates, he went to Poland Rapid and Blitz, and पहले ही game में he blundered his queen. By the way, if you don't know.
Oh.
So right in the first game, he blundered
Okay.
his queen, and फिर थोड़ा up down हुआ and eventually ended up last in the tournament. So that's how chess works. And yeah, the candidates though was awesome. He pretty much didn't even get a bad position right through. He had great positions. He converted when he needed to.
Yeah,
Last
he
rounds.
did lose a match, right, in the middle of the tournament.
Yeah, so he did lose one match, one game to Ali
Maybe which
Razak.
was a turning point as well for him.
He said that. So he lost that one game, and that one game was basically a time trouble thing. So it's like he actually had a good position, but he got into time trouble. And again, वो right at the जो 40 moves के बाद जो नया time मिलता है, so he blundered from like let's say move 36 to 38 or 39 somewhere there. So just for time trouble, he literally just got mated. And yeah, the amazing part about that was in every interview he said he was asked when he thought he got this or he has a real chance at candidates. He said that it was on the rest day right after that loss. After that loss, even though he had lost, he was feeling good. He was feeling like he got this, and he was all ready to go. And normally chess में ऐसा होता है कि tilt is very common in chess. Okay? Once you lose, you just want to play again. You want to basically get that loss of your mind, and you can also go on tilt. In fact, there was an interview, with Gukesh and the other candidates and Anand just before candidates. And Anand had asked, would you rather have a rest day after the loss, or would you not have a rest day after the loss? And because if you have lost, you just want to play again quickly so that you get the loss is not your last result, so to speak. And
Hmm.
it's like everybody agreed instinctively it's better to not have a rest day after the loss. You want to get that loss out of the way. Gukesh was the only one. नहीं नहीं, रेस्ट डे अच्छा है लॉस के बाद. रेस्ट डे के बाद इट्स लाइक थोड़ा माइंड काम हो जाता है. I can start again and I can go. So he was the exception there, and it was you can say coincidence or the destiny or whatever. That's how it turned out in candidates. कि
Yeah.
उसका रेस्ट डे was the turning point. और
And
एंड
वो
में
ये भी था ना कि it lasted towards till the very end, right? It wasn't sure. कई बार it gets decided a little earlier
हाँ.
also before the end of the tournament. ये लास्ट तक चला है, कुछ भी आउटकम निकल सकता था इसमें.
अरे हाँ हाँ, मतलब लास्ट के 3 दिन तो वो जस्ट अमेजिंग. उसने 12th राउंड और 13th राउंड में एबेसोव और फिरूजा को निकाला, बेसिकली ग्राउंड आउट विक्ट्रीज. ही एकदम ग्राइंडेड आउट द विक्ट्रीज. लॉट ऑफ पीपल वर सेइंग कि ड्रॉ ही होने वाला है, इट्स नॉट गोइंग समवेयर, बट ही ग्राइंडेड आउट द विक्ट्रीज. ही गॉट अ लीड इन राउंड 13, एंड देन राउंड 14 में ही वाज सो काम एंड कूल. मतलब एकदम विदाउट एनी ट्रबल्स ही ड्रू. एंड ऑनेस्टली इवन गोइंग इनटू राउंड 14 आई डिड नॉट हैव टू हाई होप्स. मेरा था कि ये गड़बड़ होगी यहाँ पे. मे बी नाकामुरा विल गेट अ गुड पोजीशन, और मे बी गुकेश विल try to over push के considering के tie break में his rapid and blitz is not known so much for rapid and blitz, so maybe that could also be an issue के maybe he'll go too much for the win. Lot of things could have happened there, but he just went there. draw अच्छा है. जो भी होगा nepo fabi में it's fine. Whoever wins I'll take them on in the playoffs.
Shoot off
In the
playoff.
playoffs, yeah. So मतलब
And
last.
I also read on this that when both the matches were going on, he was getting a little restless, also sort
हम्म.
of peeking into the other match कि वहाँ पे क्या चल रहा है ऐसा कुछ.
हाँ, तो उसने बोला मतलब दिस इज एक्चुअली प्रीटी कॉमन. चेस प्लेयर्स करते हैं कि है ना, इवन व्हेन दे आर प्लेइंग देयर गेम्स दे विल वॉक अराउंड, दे विल लुक एट अदर प्लेयर्स एज वेल. एंड वन ऑफ द रीजंस आल्सो जो कुछ चेस प्लेयर्स ने बोला है कि इट्स लाइक यू कांट कंसंट्रेट फॉर 7 आवर्स. 6-7 आवर्स का जो गेम चलता है. क्या हुआ? वैभव कहाँ गया? वैभव हैज लेफ्ट द मीटिंग. ही शुड बी बैक होपफुली सून. ठीक है, आई जस्ट से तब तक के या सो ये भी लॉट ऑफ चेस प्लेयर्स हैव सेड के you can't concentrate for 7 hours continuously. 1 second, please come back. Yep, Vaibhav, you're back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
हाँ ठीक है. या सो आई वाज सेइंग कि कई चेस प्लेयरों ने बोला है कि कि यू कांट एक्चुअली कॉन्सेंट्रेट कंटिन्यूसली फॉर 6-7 hours. You need to take a few breaks here and there, because the mind is not capable of doing that. So they look at other players' games, they walk around, they take a break. You can't just keep looking at your board for 6 hours. But yeah,
Mhm.
in that last game, Gukesh said कि कुछ ज़्यादा ही हो रहा था. मतलब उसका पूरा ध्यान वो फाबी नेपो के सामने था. He in fact even said कि that's why also maybe he didn't push too much against Hikaru, where he could have a little bit. He was happy with the draw के देखा जाएगा. But yeah, it just turned out beautifully. And you have to also say, तूने वो conversation देखा नेपो और फाबियानो का लास्ट में? Okay. So the basic idea there was कि if either of them win, you go into a playoff with Gukesh. और draw हुआ तो then Gukesh wins, and they both finished tied second.
Hmm.
So उसमें वो फाबियानो था, he was completely winning मतलब almost resignable position. And then the game became a little topsy turvy. He made 2-3 mistakes. 2-3 बार उसको मौका मिला, and he made a mistake, and it eventually ended in a draw. And this is like a situation where, even the opponent Nepo, he's not really interested in a draw, right? He also wants to win क्योंकि draw में वो भी second ही आने वाला है. But अगर वो, so he will also heavily push. So situation यहाँ थी, both of them are pushing, लेकिन it got to a point के despite all the pushing, everything got exchanged और कुछ हुआ नहीं, and it ended in a draw. So that last conversation was literally like, Nepo basically telling Fabi, I'm very very sorry कि मैंने draw खींच लिया, and Fabi's like, don't worry, it's my fault. So वो एक conversation है, very sad feeling, and you felt a little for them. मतलब if you look at the history also, तेरे को पता है Nepo, the person who eventually came second, तीन candidates में for the first time in the round 14 he was not leading. He has won the past two candidates, and even in this candidate, for every round after the first 13 rounds, in each and every round he was either leading or tied leading. So basically तीन candidate के बाद it was the first time he was not leading. And then you have Fabiano on the other side, who was the overwhelming favorite. He's been the world number 2. He's also been, the basically the accepted number 2 after Magnus Carlsen for a long time. Carlsen is not there, and thanks a lot for the super chat, by the way, Ajit Tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, Ajit.
you guys are doing a great job. Yeah, I think. So thanks a lot for the super chat. So Fabiano also, he was world number 2. Everybody thought this was his time. Magnus has pulled out, and it is basically his time to shine. And then he had a, sort of an average or below average first half where he was doing a lot of draws, wasn't winning so much. Then he lost to Hikaru, but then towards the end he came back. He had, I think, like 3 wins in a row, and then end में he was completely winning. और मतलब ऐसी पोजीशन, इट्स लाइक वो पोजीशन वो भूल नहीं पाएगा बहुत जल्दी कि he missed that position and it went to Gukesh. So yeah, from an Indian perspective it was great, but yeah, you did feel a little bit for those two players as well. And even beyond Gukesh, मतलब देखने
Okay,
में
Kapil, you can't have everything, right?
हाँ ठीक है मैं
No,
खत्म ही
go
कर रहा
on.
हूँ, हाँ मैं खत्म ही कर रहा हूँ. Yeah, and I was saying even beyond Gukesh, even the other Indians showed up. Everybody had a move which remembered. Vidit का एक वो bishop move था right in the beginning. He got 2 wins over Hikaru. Prag का F5 move था. Gukesh का मेरे को exact move याद नहीं, but I think he had a brilliant move in Abasov का match. I think Abasov और Firuzha का match towards the end. And even as women, they मतलब win का chance चला गया right in the first half, but then they bounced back a lot in the second half, and they came essentially to tied second, both of them.
It's
Vaishali had
a it's a all Chinese final in the World Championship, right?
second time. Last time we all Chinese tha.
Okay.
Second time. So yeah, and Vaishali had like 5 wins in the end to finish it off. और प्रग भी जाते जाते एक विन चेप के गया कि भैया मेरे को भूलो मत, आई विल कम बैक. So yeah, all in all, great, and in general, Indian chess doing very well. Arjun was not in candidates. वो जाके opens में सब जगह फोड़ रहा. He's already reached like world number 5, world number 6. Not being able to win, थोड़ा बहुत end में उसका problem हो जाता है. आज भी शारजा मास्टर्स में had he won, he could have been joined first, but he eventually draw करके he ended half point behind. एक आधे पहले टूर्नामेंट में भी हुआ है, बट या इंडियन चेस डूइंग वेरी वेल. और तूने मेरे को बोला था कि दिस इज द लास्ट टाइम आई डू इट, लेकिन भैया देयर इज अ वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप मैच इन नवंबर, उसके बाद भी मैं कर रहा हूँ.
We'll see, Kapil.
ठीक
You
है
you
कब
can you can do all the live streams you want, but you'll have to do it solo. ठीक है?
ठीक है
चलो.
चलो.
Okay.
चलो चेस का मैंने
Good
बात कर ली.
stuff.
अभी बोलो कहाँ जाना है.
मतलब let's get back to the real business. So, like I was saying, Olympics is coming closer and things are getting heated up. So, where do you want to start first?
I was thinking archery was the most interesting, but there are a few comments about Jyoti and Tejas in athletics. If you want, we can go athletics first also.
We can start. Yeah, I was also reading. So Jyoti clocked 12:78. Obviously, she's getting back to her form, and but 12:77 is what I remember is the Olympic qualification mark.
Ayla.
ठीक है, she stands good in terms of her ranking, and इस time let's not also forget the Olympic standards have tightened up also, because they want half of the athletes to qualify from the direct standard and half from ranking, right? But still 1278 is a fabulous mark. I mean, anything below 1280 is almost like world level. So it's a great stuff.
ये
Uh,
डोमेस्टिक टूर्नामेंट ही चल नहीं एशियंस चल रहा
no,
था
no,
राइट?
they, nahin, so they are in Europe, some event in
ओके.
Europe where they are touring around Europe and entering various events. And not just Jyoti and Tejas, but a lot of other athletes. The long distance runners primarily are in the US, which is their base, and they are participating in a lot of events there. But our sprinters and Neeraj and javelin throw. I mean, Jenna was in Australia, but yeah, everyone is in and around the world and uh, practicing and participating in a lot of events.
So Tejas 1341 is also hurdles, right?
Hurdles, it is hurdles. So yeah, but I think it's still far off from the Olympic standard.
Mhm.
It should be around 1320 or 1310 to 1320 is what I remember, right? So still far off. But yeah, that's about Jyoti and Tejas. Moving back to if you're talking about athletics only, so Neeraj started his season in Doha Diamond League, which was again as expected. He had a brilliant season opener, 88 point something mara, right? Which is
Yeah,
okay. I mean,
missed it by
the
2 centimeters, but yeah, it's fine.
yeah. See, the thing is, every season opener is always a tricky because you don't know where your level is, and he continues to keep that high consistent level every year on year. 88 is his basic level that he always does. So yeah, no major problems there uh, with Neeraj, but yes, Jenna was, at least personally for me, a lot of people had already
A lot
gone
of her.
overboard and started hoping big things from him.
I mean, I can
That
include myself also in that, honestly.
Oh yeah, now I remember you wanted to keep him in top 10 in that ranking
I
video that
wanted to
we
keep him ahead of
did.
relay. Top 10 बाद में करते अपन. I wanted
Yeah,
to keep him ahead of relay. That's what I was saying.
yeah, now I remember. Yeah, but yeah, he was a bit of a disappointment, and again, it is good. We still might have three javelin throwers at the end of the day, making it to final in
Hmm.
Paris like the way we had in Budapest.
Hmm.
But that's about it. Ultimately, it is going to be a Neeraj show.
नहीं, but final के लिए भी जेना has to come ना. अभी तो 75 ही आ रहा है, right? He's not even gonna make the final.
I'm saying when it comes to Paris Olympics, we still might have Jenna, even Manu can make it,
Hmm.
and maybe Jenna also, considering he improves thoda sa.
हाँ,
But
he'll have to improve.
yeah, I don't think there is a medal or a close to medal finish as people have already started talking about. That is not there, at least for me.
Yeah.
So that
So
happened.
then the world relays. I think that was the other
Oh
one.
yeah, World Relay. Yes, absolutely. World Relay का थोड़ा सा ये था कि I mean we were so if I talk about the main event men's 4x4, we were a little unfortunate that Ramesh Rajesh got injured. So that on that part we were a bit unlucky. But honestly, if I tell you, Kapil, we were at the end extremely lucky that we came out with a quota from that World Relay.
Yeah, for
I'll tell
both men
you,
and women. हाँ, मुझे तो याद है. I in fact put out a tweet कि things worked out for us. We were actually the slowest ones to qualify then,
we
time
were,
wise.
but that's okay. Like there were three different races, and a lot of it depends on the race also and your competitors also. So
Yeah.
you can't entirely say that compare the three races and what the timings were.
Hmm.
So yeah, that is one way to see look at it. But why I'm saying men's relay specifically got lucky because the Qatarians that were there in our final,
They also got
repechage
injured.
round, they got injured. And on paper, as per me, Qatarians had a better team.
Hmm.
ठीक है? Two Qatarians were, in the very next week, they were participating in the Doha Diamond League also, and they are a 45 something runner. They have one hurdler also who switches to 400-meter and runs. Had they not got injured, it would have been probably what 60-40 in their favor. And if we had not make it, if we had not got the quota from this world relays, still there was a school of thought कि we are ranked very high in terms of the last two slots.
Yeah.
ठीक है? even I had tweeted कि it was imperative for women's to qualify. Men's का तो हो ही जाता
हो ही जाएगा।
because three 350 259 आया था बुडापेस्ट में, लो
मैं
259.
मैंने कहीं पढ़ा था कि वी वर लाइक 7th और 8th और समवेयर ऑन टाइमिंग्स, मतलब बेस्ट
या
टाइमिंग जो भी दो बेस्ट टाइमिंग
जो
देखते हैं।
भी था for whatever duration. So 259.04 is in general a world class, time, and it's very hard for any country to beat that mark, right? The problem is Jamaica did not qualify through 4x4 men spotted in world relays,
ओके।
right? And obviously they did not send their best team, and something went wrong. They could not qualify. But it's a you can easily say it's a given that they are going to qualify. They can easily put up a 257 show or a 256 show also. Okay, on any given day. That quality of runners they have. Had we not qualified from world relays, we would have been in big trouble. Imagine men's team not qualifying for Paris.
तो फिर बेसिकली एक स्पॉट बचता, राइट? इफ यू आर सेइंग जमैका ले गया,
हाँ,
वी स्टिल हैव वन
जमाइका ले
स्पॉट,
जाता.
लेकिन देन देयर इज फाइट फॉर दैट
Yes.
लास्ट स्पॉट।
Now coming on to that, जो one spot बचता उसमें France is already there and they are sitting at 258, 4 or 5, which again would have been difficult for us कि तुम्हें एक और national record बनाना पड़ता. You had to cut even half a second more.
Okay, so you're saying France is already ahead of us who didn't qualify.
Yes, and this being in Paris, I'm sure they would have
वो तो
done
done
every single thing to
Yeah,
qualify.
yeah.
And on papers, they all also have better runners than us. So I mean, we somehow uh, avoided the disaster, which was supposed to happen. But yeah, अच्छा हुआ. We qualified. Women's team also qualified. Even that is a good thing. मैंने expect नहीं किया था honestly they will, but ठीक है. And mixed में I think we are usually जो cycle होती है before every Olympics, we are going to try till the very last day कि mixed में आ जाए, because Athletics Federation of India's president has already declared he's looking for adding on the numbers. He wants some 30 people to be there in Paris. So anyways, they are going to try everything possible for mixed relay also.
And we can
So
also now have our best runners in mixed also, right?
we can.
Without having to worry about doubling up and all those things.
Yes, because mixed relay is on the very first day and men's and women's relay is on the very last day. So we have some.
I meant also from a qualification perspective, because world relays maybe had a couple of people doubling up. Na?
Even that we can do. They did pretty well. They did a national record like a couple of days back in Asian relay also. So yeah, if things are in their favor on a particular day, we can come towards 313. But even that is again a difficult mark to qualify, because
तो अभी क्या situation, मतलब do you know which number we are or something like that?
Right now the last team is Italy, which is at 313 something, like a half a second better, not half but 1 second better than us. So we'll have to cut 1 more second in order to qualify. And Italy might go even further below. You never know.
और इटली के अलावा दूसरा ऊपर कौन है, पता है क्या?
ऊपर में कोई याद नहीं आ रहा कौन है.
ठीक है.
But yeah, again, strong team only.
ठीक है, but yeah, overall, I mean, especially the way the first day turned out, I think World Relays went well only. 2 out of 3 was pretty good enough. Yeah.
Like we qualified 2 teams from it, and considering the given situation, I think we came out pretty well. Yeah.
And उसके अलावा one thing I want to talk about, Neeraj Chopra competing in Bhubaneswar. Initially, I thought he is competing on his own volition, लेकिन बाद में it sort of came out he was forced to compete, which I guess I was not that much a fan of. He did only like 82 something, 80 82 भी क्या थे कि 81
82 था शायद.
हाँ 82
मन्नू का 82 था और उससे थोड़ा सा ही आगे था ना, तो
राइट. हाँ 15-20 सेंटीमीटर आगे था, तो it did 82, which honestly you have to ask यार. I mean, Neeraj Chopra को you are forcing to compete when he doesn't want to because of a schedule. It's a bit much, right?
It's a bit much, and I mean you're not even milking his presence.
और वो भी भुवनेश्वर की गर्मी में.
हाँ वो भी है. That is one aspect to look at it. Doesn't make sense. But now if you're actually asking him to compete, market it so that it's a fully jam-packed stadium. I mean, it's Neeraj Chopra, for the fuck's sake.
I think उसमें
Did you see how many people were there?
yeah, I saw,
It
but
wasn't even
नहीं
20%.
नहीं, there was hardly any crowd. There was no crowd at all. But I think उसमें थोड़ा वो problem हुआ कि maybe the decision came a little too late. So it's like they had only 3-4 days to say कि he's coming. तो 3-4 दिन में मतलब
नहीं, I
it's
think
not that difficult. No, it's
पहले से
not that
ही,
easy. Sorry.
even
हाँ.
if the confirmation did not came like 4 5 days before the event, but rumors and good speculations were there that he would be there in Bhubaneswar.
But ठीक है, मतलब if you are saying कि they did not market based on rumors, then you can't fault them, right? एक बार confirm हुआ उसके बाद ही AFI should be marketing, right?
चलो
AFI.
ठीक है, even if it is confirmed, make it a marketable event, call school students, call
हाँ, ये कर
college
सकते थे.
students, have a show, put up a show there.
This could have been done. School students, college students, okay, yeah. This you can
Yeah,
say, but I think उसमें problem वही हुआ. Maybe they just had too little time. I think issue वही था उसमें. But ठीक है. But yeah, I was just not. मतलब I
they
honestly.
can anyways do that, right? Federation cup schedule is decided pretty early, so I mean they anyways don't put in that endeavor कि हाँ खाली स्टेडियम में हमेशा आ रन हजार रन.
हाँ, but domestic event में यार it's actually common right through across sports, right? मतलब except for maybe एक IPL जहाँ पे भी foreign players आते हैं. कौन सा domestic event sees a lot of crowd, right, in India?
Indian Open.
नहीं, Indian Open is not domestic, right? Your foreign players are coming. It's an international event.
Ah, that way you're saying.
That way I'm saying
Hmm.
it's Federation Cup is eventually a domestic event, right? कौन सा
Hmm.
domestic event चलता है? You can market on Neeraj Chopra कि it's an opportunity to see Neeraj Chopra, but then
Hmm.
उसके लिए it was a little too late. I mean 3 दिन पहले people are not running to Bhubaneswar to see him, right?
नहीं, obviously can't expect people to come from other cities or nearby states, but within Bhubaneswar and nearby
हाँ
cities at least they could
हाँ,
have.
थोड़ा you can say school wools का कर सकते थे, but ठीक है. But anyways, yeah, I was just disappointed कि they actually forced him to compete, which
Yeah,
I was not a fan of at all. But
that's
ठीक
true.
ठीक है, I think athletics we have covered, right? और कुछ था athletics में?
Yeah. Did we talk about Sri Shankar last time? Was he
नहीं
covered?
नहीं, he was not. बोल.
His injury, right?
Yeah, I don't think we covered it. हाँ.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a huge blow. ठीक है, it's a blow not just for Sri Shankar, but like I had posted also. I mean, when I was in Budapest, a lot of people were actually talking about India doing well, in the horizontal jumps. Point being, people have started who closely follow track and field. They have started taking a note of India in horizontal jumps, and there are a few people coming. What I feel is maybe I'm being pessimistic here that momentum sort of gets broken with Sri Shankar getting injured because I don't see others, sort of how do I put it? Uh,
Putting up a
Others,
world class performance.
yes, putting up a world class performance or filling in for him. वो चीज I don't see. Had he shown the way, others would have followed. Like some of it happened before Budapest or in the Asian Games. Okay, Budapest was an exception.
Hmm.
He himself could not perform there.
Hmm.
But yeah, that is I feel थोड़ा सा वहाँ पे disappointing हो गया. But yeah, injuries are injuries. You can't do anything about it. So yeah, but
And even the other jumpers aren't doing too well, right? I mean, Shaili Singh का भी कुछ खास हो नहीं पाया है काफी टाइम से. Even the other Jasmine and all also haven't really
yeah,
uh,
look, problems are there
gained
in
too
and
many hopes.
around.
Yeah.
I mean, Shaili Singh, ठीक है, Asian Games में we talked about Ansi Sojan. You'd
Hmm.
remember her,
Yeah, yeah.
right? How exciting it was to watch her. Where is she now? She's nowhere to be seen.
नाम
So,
भी नहीं सुनने मिल रहा है अब तो.
so these things are always, there as a part of our athletics ecosystem. And yes, it's a never-ending, discussion on that. कि हाँ, वो चलता रहता है. Systemic अभी कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है. It's just that we have to rely on the individual performances, right?
And वो तो ठीक है, but even individual performances, outside of Neeraj, we have had too many of these cases, right? कि एक दो performance आता है and then you don't know what happened. So
Right.
it's unfortunate. But by the way, Sandeep Chetri asking about Animesh Kujur. Any thoughts? मैं तो honestly
Yeah,
नाम
yeah,
ही
yeah.
पहली बार सुना है. I haven't followed.
Yeah. So he's a upcoming runner. He's a sprinter,
Uh,
and
200-meter he's saying, yeah.
he runs 100 and 200 both,
Hmm.
and he's very well physically built. Like he's not your typical Indian sprinter who is not bulky like your usual Afro Americans. He has a physique like a Afro American,
Mhm.
and he recently did a 20.66 or something in 200 meter, which is a fairly decent mark. थोड़ा सा पीछे है नेशनल रिकॉर्ड के.
Okay.
आमलान बॉर्गोइन के जो नेशनल रिकॉर्ड से हल्का सा पीछे. And I think he trains with Amlan only in the
Mhm.
Reliance Foundation Center.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's just 20,
Okay.
good prospect in good hands, like Jyoti is. So we can expect good things from him.
तो मतलब
But
पेरिस
then
जाएगा कि फ्यूचर?
no, not for Paris, for future.
नहीं मतलब पेरिस में क्वालिफिकेशन भी नहीं,
I
नॉट.
don't think so. No, no. So Paris qualification looks very far off for him, but for future he seems a good prospect, and especially now if we have both him and Amlan, so two is always better than one, right? They can compete against each other and push each other and get to the better score, better timings.
ठीक है. So that's about athletics. It's kind of coming to that point that we are back to that square one there. It's Neeraj and everybody else, right?
Yeah, everybody else who are rushing and spreading their hands and feet everywhere trying to qualify. But yeah, nothing much has changed as much as it has been portrayed that okay, Indian athletics is growing leaps and bounds and stuff. Beyond Neeraj, not much is happening as such.
अविनाश तेबल के बारे में कुछ बोलना है? I think I've seen the second question on him.
He's not even started his season. What do you even say? He
True.
started running 5,000 meter, and I think he's done one or maybe twice, but he hasn't started his steeplechase season so far. Although that 5,000 meter that he did was a good, like he was just a little off the mark from his own national record. He owns a national record in 5,000 meter also. By the way.
ठीक है, पेरिस में तो सिर्फ स्टीपल में compete करने का प्लान है ना, कि दोनों
हाँ
में कर
हाँ ऑफ
सकता है.
कोर्स नहीं नहीं दोनों में कर सकता है बट करेगा नहीं
वो
आई
डबल अप हो जाएगा, फटीग वेटीग एंड एवरीथिंग.
थिंक.
एंड तेजस्विन का भी आई थिंक हो ही गया था, राइट? कि अगर करेगा तो हाई जंप में करेगा, नॉट इन डेकाथलॉन.
हाँ इवन दैट इज फाइनल यस.
ठीक है. ठीक है, चलो फिर चलते हैं. कहाँ जाना है? आर्चरी चलना है?
चलो आर्चरी की बात कर लेते हैं.
चलो.
आर्चरी का तो वर्ल्ड कप आल्सो स्टार्टेड टुडे इटसेल्फ राइट.
यस, सो वर्ल्ड कप स्टार्ट, मतलब वर्ल्ड कप स्टार्टेड येस्टरडे. कल कंपाउंड चालू हुआ एंड टुडे देयर वाज द रिकर्व.
रिकर्व कास्ट था राइट.
So yeah, Archery is actually going surprisingly well. Matlab, obviously we are early into the season. We have one World Cup to go by, but the one World Cup we had was basically a historic World Cup, right? Compound में तो ठीक है हम लोग जीते. Compound में I think there's no doubt left at this point. कि as things stands, we are the best compound nation on the planet. उसमें बिल्कुल डाउट बचा नहीं है. Yes, there are obviously all these questions about why is compound not in the Olympics, and only if compound was in the Olympics. So usme there is always the question ke if you add compound in the Olympics, then how does the entire compound scene change? Because other countries will come, maybe some recurve archers might also shift to compound, and the entire scene might change. So we don't know what will happen at that point.
या
But as things work right now, compound में तो हम लोग फोड़ रहे हैं बुरा वाला. मतलब last World Cup was 4 golds and 1 silver, so it was like very close to the clean sweep. Or
like
clean
we
sweep,
continued from where we left the Asian Games.
yeah. But at the world stage now, Asian Games it was Asian, now at the world stage, and even the clean sweep was avoided by a 150 on 150. So the opponent needed
So,
to shoot a 150 to prevent the clean sweep from Priyansh. तो कंपाउंड में तो बुरी तरह से ही फोड़ रखा है. बट या द बिग सरप्राइज इन द फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड कप वाज रिकर्व, where Recurve men team won a World Cup gold for the first time in like 20 years or something. I don't remember. I tweeted at that point. I don't remember the exact number right now.
what was that stat around it? So the last goal that men's team won, Tarundeep Rai was a part of that team as well, is
No,
it?
no, no. So there were two things. One was that the last gold was maybe like 11 years ago or 12 years ago, something like that. And then there was another stat where Tarundeep Rai was competing. Uh, Rai's last team final was against Korea.
Final.
Maybe, team
Hmm.
final was against Korea, maybe in like 2004. So that is like 20 years ago. where he was competing against Korea in the team final, and
Yeah.
there he lost, and it was like 20 years ke baad now he's sort of taken the revenge in a way,
Mm.
that way.
Yeah.
So there were like two different stories there.
Mm.
And I think last World Cup gold might be 11, 12 years or something. Exact मुझे याद नहीं है. But
Mm.
and yeah, obviously we are talking only about men team here, recurve men team. So yeah, the recurve men team came through. Korea ko beat karna is always a huge thing. So we beat Korea there. Deepika Kumari beat two Koreans on her own. Lost to the third
Yeah.
one in the final. She won a silver. Mixed team maybe we got a bronze. I think so. Bronze ही मिला था कि silver मिला था. I think bronze मिला था mixed team में भी.
कुछ तो था मेडल.
हाँ, so recurve में मतलब इतने मेडल हमें मिलते नहीं है usually. And another thing, just as a global perspective, जो मैंने देखा था, the big surprise was कि even in this World Cup, normally what you saw was Korea used to be like 1, 2, 3, 4 in the qualification. Previous
This
World
is
Cup
no
में,
longer the case.
हाँ, previous World Cup में भी नहीं था, इस World Cup में भी नहीं हुआ है. जो इस World Cup जो कल चालू हुआ, आज recurve हुआ, Deepika has finished fourth. You had Koreans at 1 and 2, but then the third and fourth Koreans were below.
Yeah,
And
even in men's first and second, या कुछ तो था top 3 में दो Koreans थे, but third was not visible in the top 10 at least.
एग्जैक्टली सो मतलब वहां पे भी मे बी एट अ ग्लोबल लेवल ही वो थोड़ा चेंज हो रहा है, बट इंडिया इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ इट डेफिनेटली.
India is, and we right now both our recurve teams are, I think, performing really really well and stand a good chance for Paris as well, right? Men's ka to it's almost certain. Even if we don't win a quota in the last event, I don't think their ranking changes any which ways and will be in a comfortable place
ठीक है. सो
qualifying for Paris,
हाँ,
right?
so I was just checking this. So basically, the situation is okay. So for those who don't know, we have a final qualifier left. Final qualifier में men में there are three spots, three team spots. So three teams will qualify through the final qualifier. Women में there are four spots. Okay, and
Hmm.
उसके बाद there are two spots based on world rankings. So
Four
after that,
spots because France won their quota and they also have a host quota which
exactly.
they sort of gave away.
या सो मतलब फ्रांस बेसिकली फिनिश इन टॉप 4 एट द वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप, तो वहां पे एक टीम का जो कोटा है वो यहाँ पे ट्रांसफर हो गया. सो इफ यू लुक एट द मेन राइट नाउ, मेन की ये वर्ल्ड रैंकिंग है, इंडिया इज सेकेंड. ओके, सो बट इंडिया के बाद यू हैव ताइपे एंड चाइना हु हैव आल्सो नॉट क्वालिफाइड,
Hmm.
who are also still looking. So if you look at the points 243, 243, 221, it's pretty close. But it's like it's a worst case scenario where India doesn't make it, where all these three teams they miss out on the final qualifier,
Yeah.
and then somehow Taipei and China overtake India also.
Yeah,
So
but
it is.
can you open either of Taipei and China? Let's
So
open Taipei first.
so first of all, India का open करके देख लेते हैं. So
Hmm.
the main thing to note here is कि even though there are a lot of competitions which contribute to archery world rankings, they count only the top four.
Hmm.
So that is the biggest thing. तो इसलिए वर्ल्ड कप, दो वर्ल्ड कप काफी है, because you need only 4 results out there. तो इंडिया का जैसे ये एक शंघाई का वर्ल्ड कप गोल्ड है 80, इससे बेटर कुछ आता नहीं है. एंड ये जो जून के रिजल्ट्स हैं, अगस्त एंड अक्टूबर इज फाइन. जून का रिजल्ट आई थिंक विल द पॉइंट्स विल रिड्यूस अ लिटिल बिट, बिकॉज एक साल के बाद रिड्यूस हो जाता है. सो राइट नाउ यू हैव 18 जून 2023, द कट ऑफ डेट इज मे बी लाइक 25th जून, and on 18 June 2024 this 56 will reduce a little.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
but ठीक है, if that 56 gets reduced, it gets replaced by
मतलब
this
56
51.
will change to some other event.
नहीं, 56 will get reduced to 48, I think so. 48 or
The
42 something.
points will reduce for the
Percentage,
same event.
हाँ, परसेंटेज का फंडा है कि इट्स लाइक मोर देन 12 मंथ्स के बाद you count only like 80% or something like that, or 75% I think. So
Okay.
after 12 months you take only 75% of the points, and then after 18 months you take 50% of the points, and then 24 months के बाद maybe it becomes zero. So something ऐसा कुछ फंडा है. So this 46 itself might reduce to like let's say 42 or something. So but it will get replaced by this 51. The 51 भी जैसे देखेगा April 2023 है, right? So now because we are in May 2024, this exists, but this World Cup silver is lower than this World Cup bronze.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
ठीक है. So it will come, but दो वर्ल्ड कप में हो सकता है, some other team comes and there is a World Cup right now, there is a third World Cup. दो World Cup में you get a couple of golds, then rankings can change, because eventually.
Okay, so you mean there is before the ranking cutoff for Paris,
Hmm.
after this ongoing World Cup, there is another World Cup.
Yeah, so that
Antalya World Cup you're talking about?
so that World Cup will basically double up with the Olympic qualifier as well,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
I believe that World Cup is also gonna get counted. जितना मैंने देखा.
And in terms of Olympic qualification event,
Hmm.
like the way it happened in Asian Wrestling Championship,
Hmm.
there will be a regular event,
Hmm.
and then on the sidelines to it, after that, there
I
will
think
be a
it's before.
separate qualification event
I
before
think
or
it's
after.
before, but yeah.
Hmm.
And in that qualification event, only those teams compete who are not already qualified.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and double digits team, by the way, saying that according to his calculations, quota will be confirmed if China does not reach quarterfinal for the men. So I have not done those calculations. He might be right there. So हाँ,
Where
so
is he saying it though? I didn't.
देखना last comment है double digits team.
Okay.
Double
I don't
digit
know.
team
Maybe
can
it's not updating for me the live chat. ठीक
रिफ्रेश
है.
मार ले थोड़ा.
Anyways.
हाँ, आई
Hmm.
थिंक आज वैसे भी थोड़ा स्लो चल रहा है. रिफ्रेश मार ले थोड़ा.
ठीक है. Let's quickly move on to China and
So yeah,
Taipei.
so if you see Taipei, the score is the same, 243, 243.
Hmm.
They have all these silvers and bronzes.
Yeah.
So, you replace them with golds and things start to change. Okay.
So yeah, obviously it'll depend on the next two World Cups and what we get out of the qualification tournament.
Yeah.
3 more tournaments basically.
हाँ. But उसमें भी बात वही है कि मतलब the way we miss out is कि Taipei, China, India, all three of them, they miss out first of all on the qualification. And there are 3 teams who are going to qualify, right? So first of all 3 of them have to miss out on those qualification. And then Taipei and China have to overtake India.
Yeah, the chances of which are very
low. Very low.
ठीक है. How are things in on the women's side?
Women में actually surprisingly it's a similar case. I'll tell you why.
But women's team after a long time is looking in shape now, right? Considering how the last World Cup went for them and Deepika is
Well,
back in
the
fold.
Deepika is back, लेकिन women team मतलब last time they lost in round of 16, आज भी they finished 6th. So it is not
So sixth is a decent finish in terms of ranking.
decent only, right? Not too good.
Yeah,
And
but
right,
how are they performing last year? Were
हाँ
they
वो
even
ठीक है.
finishing in top 6 or top 8?
टॉप 8 के आसपास ही होते थे, 8-10 के आसपास, 8-9. एंड
Are you
आज मैंने
sure?
या और आज मैंने मतलब क्वालिफिकेशन में, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट
हाँ,
मैच.
qualification में.
आई
मतलब,
थिंक
at least for me, after Deepika has come, okay, we just have one sample size here, but the way last World Cup went, Shanghai World Cup था, right? उसमें the team looked very solid to me, and अभी का ranking भी it's pretty decent only यार.
ठीक है, मतलब आई मीन इफ यू लुक एट इट, जैसे आज का अगर तुम इंडिविजुअल क्वालिफिकेशन रैंकिंग देखो, सो दीपिका वाज नंबर 4th, बट 4th के बाद आई थिंक नेक्स्ट वाज अंकिता भकत एट लाइक 33 और समथिंग. So it's not even that promising, right? मतलब Deepika is
वही ना.
definitely back.
Rest of the archers are where they were till last year.
वही
It's just that
Deepika is
Deepika
improving.
coming back has added to the overall team.
And mixed team में by the way last time Ankita Bhakat was there, ना? Mixed team में का जो bronze आया था रिकप का, that was not Deepika, that was
Yeah.
Ankita, I believe. Ankita थी या भजन कौल थी, one of the two. I think भजन कौल थी in fact.
I just remember Deepika wasn't there. Mixed.
ठीक है. So anyway, so women's का जो मैं बोल रहा था ना, women's में भी actually the situation is the same. You have China and you have Taipei.
Yeah.
And all these are qualified. Korea, France, Germany, Mexico, US, all are qualified. Even
But
Netherlands, I
अगर
believe, is qualified.
वही है, इसमें भी यही है, नीचे जाएगा ना. So similar situation कि China, Taipei
And then India.
don't have to qualify from the qualification tournament.
Yeah.
And India don't have to qualify, and उसके बाद जाके then they need to topple the two countries. But if you go below, I think Indonesia is the country which can qualify from rankings, right?
So
After India,
but
because Netherlands
है
are
gap.
also qualified.
Yeah, but है gap. मतलब 185 to 169 है gap. And then
हाँ.
every time you say कि Indonesia has to qualify for the rankings, you have to also add कि they don't have to qualify from the qualifier.
Yeah.
तो वो add हो जाए. The difference is कि at least China and Taipei are currently ahead of India. वहाँ पे India is ahead of China and Taipei at the moment.
Yeah.
So that is the main difference. But yeah, given that India is 8th here and we are 2nd there, you would imagine that the men would be in a much better situation than the women, but not exactly.
So overall, long story short, let's say one of China and Taipei qualify in the qualification tournament,
Hmm.
okay, and India does not qualify in either
Hmm.
men's or women's.
Hmm.
Still, we are at a good position to qualify via rankings.
Yeah, both.
That's the main summary, right?
Yeah, and obviously we would hope to qualify by the tournament itself. Don't count
Yeah,
it
of
out.
course, that's
Hmm.
that's a given. Yes,
और एक और एडिशनल फैक्टर है कि वुमेन में 4 कोटाज है इन द क्वालिफायर, मेन में 3 ही है,
हाँ वो भी है.
वो भी
True,
एक फैक्टर है.
true, true,
So
true.
yeah, so both of them should hopefully make it. They will be unlucky to not make it, but yeah, ranking wise at least you can say that there is scope to improve a lot here. जैसे वुमेन में you have a 7th place also, so at least इसको थोड़ा improve कर लो. None of them are at least reducing points. That's the good
Yeah,
part. So there is like 1 2 3 bronzes, but ये एशियन है जिसकी वजह से कम है.
but
अच्छा, और
I
ये
think ठीक है
2022
ये.
है जो ऑलरेडी कम हो चुका है.
मतलब till last year, I don't know about you, but I at least had this feeling that we might miss out on one of the teams not even qualifying
Yeah, yeah.
to Paris. Till the end of the last year, that was the overall feeling, right?
I mean,
But that's not there now.
women में तो even individual qualifier we don't have. So
Hmm,
technically तो we can miss out even there. And फिर
exactly.
और फिर आर्चरी में वो इशू तो है ही ना, राइट? एक टूर्नामेंट में कभी भी कुछ भी होता है, राइट?
Yeah,
However much you perform earlier, anything can happen in one tournament.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that
And
is
I think why yeah, we having both the teams in archery is of prime importance to us. Considering I continue to maintain it, getting a medal in archery is one of the easiest across sports, especially in the team event. Right? You just need to win 3 matches. That's about it.
yeah, I mean, मतलब वो थोड़ा the difficulty comes from the unpredictability. That's what I would say.
हाँ.
But yeah,
But even the benchmark for that unpredictability is much higher in other sports.
नहीं यार, एक्चुअली ये बहुत अनप्रेडिक्टेबल है. कोरिया के अलावा
Well,
बहुत अनप्रेडिक्टेबल है.
unpredictable hai, but when you compare it like against a shooting, right? So shooting, में obviously unpredictability is much more higher than
Yeah,
archery.
I'm not too sure. I think it's pretty
Okay,
close.
fair enough, fair enough. ठीक है, cool.
ठीक है. Chalo, so
चलो.
yeah, actually, at least the good part is that we are talking about archery. Archery is looking up this year. It's been a sport which sort of among the fans starts getting neglected a bit because बहुत time से कुछ हो नहीं पाया है. And also there's not much coverage of it on TV and all as well. We only
But
get to
they do have a stream, right? Now you can
stream भी
simply
सिर्फ finals
subscribe
के
it
आते हैं,
and
right? Stream भी सिर्फ finals के आते हैं. नहीं, you don't need to subscribe it. It's on Sony Live.
अच्छा Sony Live does it.
हाँ, सोनी
Oh,
लिवन इनफैक्ट उस पे भी आता है, सोनी स्पोर्ट्स पे भी आता है, लेकिन यू गेट ओनली द फाइनल्स डे, यू डोंट गेट द अर्लियर मैचेस. सो जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अब कंपाउंड में द मेन टीम का ब्रॉन्ज मैच भी हो चुका है. इट डिडंट कम. वी
hmm.
फिनिश्ड फोर्थ इन देयर, एंड बाय द वे वी वर वेरी अनलकी देयर. कंपाउंड मेन टीम में सेमीफाइनल एंड ब्रॉन्ज मैच दोनों में भी लॉस्ट इन द शूट ऑफ. टाई करने के बाद वी लॉस्ट इन द शूट ऑफ एंड वी एंडेड अप फोर्थ. वुमेन टीम गॉट टू द फाइनल. तो मतलब सिर्फ फाइनल आता है. आई मीन दैट इज द डिसएडवांटेज देयर. But ठीक है,
Yeah,
actually at least it's looking good. That is
yeah, it
that is
is. Yes, 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 absolutely. ठीक है, all right.
तो
From
कहाँ
one
जाना है?
shooting sport to another, maybe.
शूटिंग. ठीक है, चलो.
Yeah, trials की बात करते हैं.
मेन ट्रायल्स ही है,
I'm
राइट?
sure
वी हैव
many
एनीथिंग
people
एल्स?
would be wait. हाँ, trials ही है. उसके अलावा तो कोई development as such हुई नहीं ना. And even our last live stream was about shooting trials only.
ठीक है, चलो स्टार्ट. Which event you want to start with? Or just general talking? बोलो.
Yeah, I think event wise देख लेते हैं. I mean we can talk event wise also, but if you can, अच्छा you've already put it up. Great. ठीक है. I think for me overall, I would say it was a satisfactory performance from the entire team. I wouldn't say that I was overawed. Yeah, something very extraordinary came out of it. To be honest, it was good overall. ठीक है. There were some world class performances here and there, and there were some shooters who showcase that they are pretty consistent at a high level. But मेरे को the one thing that sort of I caught my attention and I personally did not like was across the 4 trials. Maybe it was because of the format as such that you always had an option to exclude your lowest score. So
Hmm.
that gives you a leeway, right?
Hmm.
But I was actually looking forward to see someone who performs at the highest level across all four trials. वो across the board किसी का भी नहीं देखा. Maybe Manu came close in 25-meter pistol is what you can see कि उसके consistently अच्छे scores थे with a small blip of 582 जो उसने पहले ट्रायल में किया था, right?
Hmm.
बट अदरवाइज कहीं ना किसी का सॉर्ट ऑफ डिप गया परफॉर्मेंस में एंड वो चीज़ मेरे को थोड़ा सा ठीक नहीं लगी. बाकी सेकेंडली अगेन आउटसाइड ऑफ लेट्स से 10-meter एयर
Pistol
राइफल एंड
women. अच्छा, okay, नहीं बोल.
10
नहीं,
meter
go
air
ahead.
rifle both men and women and maybe men's 53p, we actually did not get to see a lot of world class scores, Kapil.
Hmm.
Finals में we did, but overall in qualification we actually did not get. So वो मेरे को थोड़ा सा I don't know. I was maybe expecting a bit more. कि we will get to see a more 590 in 25-meter pistol. Let's say it got missing. 53p में even it was just once or twice we crossed 590 barely. Like Ashi did 591, Sif did 592 on her last day. But decent scores on the borderline of qualification, but not like world class scores, right? So ये दो तीन चीजें थी मेरे को जो ओवरऑल लगी, बट एज सच आई एम लाइक वेरी वेरी satisfied with the overall outcome of the trials.
हाँ, so
तेरा क्या ख्याल है?
score wise, I think I'm on with you just slightly, I guess. मतलब you are like yeah, it was good, but you had some issues. Mine was like okay से थोड़ा नीचे because I was more concerned about the scores. जैसे you said, I thought I expected a little higher scores.
Hmm.
Yeah, overall results ठीक है in terms of who is going, we can discuss that after this. But in terms of scores, yeah, even I felt कि overall scores were maybe a little lower than I would have liked to see or I would have
Yeah,
expected. तो
yeah,
उस
yeah.
हिसाब से थोड़ा disappointing definitely था. But yeah, a lot
मतलब
of good news
outside of
also.
the rifle events, right? Rifle was still okay. All four rifle events.
राइफल में अब वो वाली बात है यार कि डिपेंड्स हाउ यू इवेल्युएट अ 630 स्कोर नाउ. If you think a 630 score is still a world class score, then rifle is fine. But if you say
No,
is
I am saying 632 and above is a world class score.
तो
So even
630.
if you consider that, we had, especially in air rifle women,
Hmm.
we had a lot of instances where we had 632 plus score, right?
Yeah, but I'm thinking 632 is more like par now. So there wasn't there's a
इतना भी नहीं है 632.
हाँ
I mean
par par थोड़ा ज्यादा हो गया मे बी
631 is still okay
मे बी
because
हाँ
needle has moved from 630 to 631 now.
मे बी.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I thought मतलब और उसमें फिर वो भी बात है ना कि राइफल में we even had hopes were also higher. I mean they are the best events. But yeah, ठीक है. It wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. It was fine. Could have been better. Let me put it
yeah,
that way.
absolutely. Yeah, even my larger takeaway is that. And I think one more thing. So एक चीज मेरे को जो अच्छी लगी, which is slightly, I won't say advantageous, but gives me a little more satisfaction is जितने भी हमारे top two shooters रहे हैं across the events,
Hmm.
all of those top two shooters have been the best performers in their particular event in final also.
मतलब
Now, this
some
is like
exceptions.
your favorite topic.
No, but
Yeah,
some
I'll come to
exceptions थे
that
यार.
also.
हाँ.
I'll come to that also. Let me
Hmm.
complete, Kapil.
Hmm.
So you were worried about this particular aspect, right? Ki
Yeah, yeah.
finals में we should be giving more prominence to the finals. So I think वहाँ पे वो थोड़ा सा nullify हो जाता है कि our qualified shooters did very well in finals also. Obviously, there is a major exception here of Sandeep Singh. That is what you wanted to highlight, right?
Yeah, Sandeep Singh to hai. I think we can also look at the others. I'm not too sure because I think there are a few cases like जैसे ईला सामने ही दिख रही है. ईला did very well in the finals. Manu did I think very well in the finals, especially
Yeah.
25 meter में.
We, हाँ, तू नीचे scroll करेगा ना कपिल, you'll see maybe with an exception of Isha in 25-meter pistol, who also, when she won the gold, I think she broke the world record or she went closer to the world record. It
Yeah.
was something like that. I think ईशा को भी तो एक्सेप्शन में डाल सकता है, बट अदर देन दैट इफ you'll see everyone has at least 3 final top 3 positions, and some of them have really stood out. Someone like Sif, she's known for her
Yeah.
final score. She did a world record in finals, right?
Yeah, Sift
Just
also
look
Sift
at her
three
finals.
goals. 3 goals.
3 golds, and the silver that she lost to Anjum, that was also very close, because in the second penultimate shot, standing shot, I remember checking on that. She did a 9.6, Anjum did a 10.8. So वहां से वो थोड़ा सा डिफरेंशियल आ गया और फिर लास्ट शॉट में वो ले गई.
नहीं वो ठीक है, but even you want Anjum also to do well in finals, so she's also done. हाँ ठीक है,
He has done pretty well, yes.
actually to some extent you can say, कि other than obviously Sandeep Singh, more or
Yeah,
less
but
the
Sandeep
finals
is
have
a
been
major
fine.
exception. I mean, it's a cause of worry that he could not finish in top 3 among top 5 Indian shooters in any of the 4 trials when he had been shooting so well.
Yeah, Sandeep ka, I mean, the only argument you can give is one is obviously he doesn't maybe have experience in finals, and you can make that genuine argument कि maybe he is actually weak in finals, which could be a problem in Paris.
Yeah.
That is one argument. And the other argument जो बहुत जगह सुना है, by the way, somebody saying कि maybe Arjun Chima didn't do that much. We'll see that. But yeah, the other argument which you can give, which I've seen, and honestly, it's a little bit of maybe a self-satisfaction argument. But the argument has been that maybe he needs pressure to compete. Because if you look at it, even his trial 4 was weak when his qualification was all but assured. And we all know that finals didn't really play a part in the selection. In fact, I think it will be difficult to find anybody who uh, who made it to the top 2 due to the finals. मतलब final score हटा दो, तो I don't think any of the qualifiers are changing.
Yeah. Even I checked that. None of it is changing.
None of it is changing. So finals didn't matter at the end of the day, right?
Hmm.
So that is the only argument you can give, right? Maybe he actually needs the pressure to compete. And whenever he was under pressure in those qualification in those first 3 trials, he pulled out stellar scores. और जैसे ही pressure off जाता था in the finals as well as in the trial 4, he didn't compete well. So, and there have been cases like that. Not particular. I'm saying just in shooting, but in
Hmm.
general sports में we have seen cases like that who show up at the big stage, लेकिन smaller stage पे they maybe don't do that well. So we have seen those cases. And
Yep.
I was just trying to think, just a strange coincidence or whatever you can say. We have 4 Olympic medals in shooting, right? So out of
As
those,
in?
आज तक we have
आज तक, अच्छा.
हाँ,
Hmm.
आज तक we have 4 Olympic medals in shooting. Out of those 4, 2 of them were won by shooters in their first Olympics, and 2 of them were won by shooters in their third Olympics.
Mhm.
Okay, so Bindra and Narang won in the third Olympics, and Rathod and Vijay Kumar won in their first Olympics. And the 2 of them who won in their first Olympics, which is Rathod and Vijay Kumar,
Mhm.
both are army men, which Sandeep also is. So whatever you
Yeah,
take
but
out of it,
I
ठीक
think
है.
both Vijay and Rathod had much better
More
pedigree
experience,
than and experience.
definitely.
Even achievements wise, also internationally, both
अचीव
both
हाँ,
had.
तो वो तो एक्सपीरियंस के साथ आ ही जाता है. राठौड़ तो नो डाउट, राठौड़ वेंट इन एज लाइक वर्ल्ड नंबर 2, वर्ल्ड नंबर 3 समथिंग.
Yeah. And
विजय
even
इवन एज
Vijay, I
वन,
remember his scores had started touching 585 plus before London.
बट
It
स्टिल
it
विजय वाज
went
अ सरप्राइज
unnoticed
ऑल्सो. हाँ.
entirely. It was obviously he was a surprise, but I remember checking it like many years back. His scores had consistently started touching 585 plus, and it's not like he London wala score came out of the blue. He was going. He went to London with a rich form. That was the case.
हाँ, but if you count domestic scores also, then you can say the same about Sandeep also, right? He's shot those
Yeah,
3
yeah,
stellar
yeah. You
scores.
can. Yeah, I'm not countering on that. I'm just adding on to that कि वो एक factor था विजय के case में. Just
So
that he had more experience internationally, which maybe Sandeep does not have.
and by the way, since somebody brought the point about Arjun Singh Cheema, उसको भी जल्दी से देख लेते हैं. What's his
हाँ,
final
उसका
situation?
भी he's just been to
Two finals. Arjun
three
Singh Cheema is
twice.
a problem, yeah, right?
I mean, based on that, he's a problem. You can
Final
consider
wise,
that.
final के
Yeah.
हिसाब से. But then if you look at the others, who's इसमें actually best final was Ravinder, who has like one
Mm.
gold and two silvers, but then not much to show in the
Yeah.
qualification. तो वहाँ पे भी वो factor आ जाता है. But हाँ ठीक है. On the whole, lot of quota holders miss the bus to Paris, but it transferred a lot to deemed quota holders only.
Yeah,
And
but I think honestly, Kapil, I strongly feel we need to move away from this
quota holders.
conversation or narrative that who was
हाँ
the quota holder or who wasn't, especially in shooting, because we know anyone could have won the quota, and even after that, we know anyone could have qualified for Paris.
yeah
I
yeah
don't think it makes a lot of sense to even count कि कितने quota holders जा रहे हैं कितने नहीं जा रहे हैं. That's just to build the narrative. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. यार मतलब कोटा में the thing which a lot of fans forget or they maybe don't know, you need to remember कि winning a quota essentially means कि you got there first. मतलब there is a rule कि every event में a country can win a maximum of only two quotas. So for example, you have this situation. क्या हुआ मेरा mouse अटक गया क्या? एक मिनट चल रहा है. हाँ, so you have this situation यहाँ पे women rifle में where okay Tilotama and Mehuli were the quota winners, but Nancy and Ela also would have won the quota had the other two would not have won it. It just would have happened in a later event, and you can say कि later event maybe represents recent form also. तो that factor is there. ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर एक ने कोटा जीता इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि दूसरा नहीं जीत सकता था. So that is, and even Zamita, who eventually qualified without a quota, she was extremely close to a quota herself. Asian
Yeah.
Championship, it was basically Tilotawa second and Zamita third.
See,
So it
why
was
na?
really
I mean,
close.
everywhere there is some glitch, right? Like even Ramita, she shot brilliant, but like it's not like she scores usually in the trials and even in international. She's always hovering around 631 plus.
Hmm.
But यहाँ पे 628, I don't know. She might have shot 628 after almost like an year or so.
Okay.
पिछली जो हमने स्ट्रीम की थी उसमें
Hmm.
उसका लोएस्ट 629.3 था which was just once.
Okay. हाँ नमिता का तो मैंने बोला भी है कि इन जनरल इफ यू लुक एट द राइफल वुमेन रिकॉर्ड्स Ramita has always been thereabouts. She
Hmm.
doesn't have these stellar scores of 636, which she pulled out brilliantly in the end, but
Yeah,
she's always hanging around and
yeah.
she's always in the mix, so to speak. वही टिलोटमा का देखोगे तो it goes very up and down, which we
Hmm.
had discussed.
Yeah, I am very happy that I mean obviously nothing against both Telodom and Nancy, but yeah, I'm so glad that both of them did not qualify. Just that I don't know, I don't get the good feeling considering Nancy का ठीक है, she's got a very high ceiling,
Hmm.
but मेरे को कहीं ना कहीं लगता है कि she's still inexperienced in terms of her international exposure, and Telodoma has been super inconsistent.
ठीक है, I personally would have liked to really see Nancy. Tilotama, I agree with you, inconsistent. But yeah,
Yeah,
I would have liked to see Nancy. But yeah, Ela and Namita, no problems at all.
and both
Uh,
of them are beast in when it comes to final, no? Eli and Ramita.
yeah, I mean, at least looking at the trial finals. But
Yeah.
Nancy's also done well in the past. She has won medals, though trials में इतना अच्छा नहीं गया.
Mm.
But she has done it in international tournaments as well.
Ilaga,
And
honestly, I hadn't expected that she would make. Like at the back of my mind, I somewhat knew that she won't qualify.
mm,
But yeah, I think her 2024 is going pretty well. Asian
yeah,
Championship maybe 634 था उसका with a silver.
and she brought it in Bhopal only. मतलब even अगर trial score भी देखो, trial 1, trial 2 is not that strong.
Yeah,
Trial 1 is weak, trial 2 just 630, which is, as I said, it's sort of middling score at this point,
yeah,
630. So she brought it with what? A 634 and a 633, right? In
yeah,
the end. So again,
yeah,
you can say मतलब when the pressure was high, she got it done.
yeah. And which is where I feel disappointed with Rudransh actually that men's में he could have done similar thing, right? He just did not have enough to, get back to the top. And Bhopal में ठीक है 630 to 630.6 है,
हम्म।
but that's just borderline, right?
वो मतलब
ऐसा
T4
कुछ
में
नहीं था
चांस
कि
था,
हम्म,
T4 में डेफिनेटली चांस था व्हेन अर्जुन एंड faltered and came up with a 624. T4 में जरूर चांस था, बट रुद्रांश के बारे में आई से दिस वन थिंग कि इफ यू लुक एट इट हाईएस्ट स्कोर भी 632 ही है. So you don't have like and we talked about it in the previous team also, right? He was a monster in like the first half of 2023. Since he won the world championship and then the first half of 2023, he was really doing well. But
yeah,
पिछले एक साल से it has gone down. And
yeah.
we were also talking, कि we would love
And
to
the
see,
world level has also gone up.
yeah, and we were also talking, that we would love to see the original Rudraksh back in the trials, but it did not happen.
Yeah,
And especially अगर तुम संदीप से कंपेयर करो तो टोटल में बहुत गैप है यार, मतलब इट्स
बहुत
नॉट
gap है.
क्लोज.
Hmm.
5 पॉइंट का गैप है, वो 1 पॉइंट का कोटा मिला के फिर भी 4 पॉइंट का गैप है. So it's not close, and I saw a lot of people who obviously can't digest that Rudraksh is not going because he was the world champion, asking
Yeah.
NRI to switch the team and all, but yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
कोई सेंस नहीं बनता उसका.
By the way, Kapil, they haven't like put a full and final stamp on
हाँ,
their team.
बट वो तो मीटिंग होगी तब डालेंगे ना.
हाँ
मीटिंग ही
मीटिंग
नहीं हुई
होगी
है.
बट ऐसा भी नहीं है कि इट्स अ गिवन दैट all of these are going to make it. I don't
I,
know.
I will be shocked if they don't, especially because it's also a case कि it's not close. अगर कोई ऐसा
But
होता ना कि close होता, because I think in most events second or third में भी decent gap है. It's
see,
not कि.
for 10-meter air rifle specifically,
हम्म,
it's not close, but they do have a case to be made here,
हम्म,
especially for Sandeep,
हम्म.
that he did not perform in even one of the finals, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but then should
Obviously, it opens a Pandora's box of
वो तो
controversy
पूरा ही
that's
खुल गया ना.
definitely there,
And should
but
have
I
kept
just
higher
think
points for final ना, वो तो मैं शुरू से बोल ही ना. He will say that only कि तुम लोग ने फाइनल के पॉइंट ही नहीं रखे तो मैंने ध्यान नहीं दिया उस पे.
कंसल्टिंग ले रहे हैं तेरे से.
नहीं, आई एम सेइंग कि दैट विल बी द आर्गुमेंट, राइट? मतलब if they are whoever they are ditching here, that guy is going to court, right? You know that. It's highly unlikely कि किसी को है ना जो टॉप 2 को निकाला वो कोर्ट नहीं जा रहा है. और and they have already had a court case where the court case had said कि the trials are final.
Yeah.
वो you had that Manini Kaushik case, so they have already defended the
But it's
trials in the
upheld
court.
now, right?
Yeah. So but the point is the court has upheld the trials. So
Mm.
now if they start going behind on the trials, now it opens everything up, right? The people who are not competing, the people who missed out, everybody is gonna come and say कि भैया सिर्फ
That's
उसी के
true.
साथ क्यों, मेरे साथ भी.
हाँ मतलब अलग अलग पर्सपेक्टिव से और भी केसेस निकल के आ सकते हैं.
सब कुछ निकल के आ जाएगा वो तो फिर.
ठीक
और
है.
मेरी साइड में तो इट डजंट इवन मेक सेंस बिकॉज ऑनेस्टली रुद्रांश हैज नॉट बीन दैट ग्रेट, टू बी
Yeah.
ऑनेस्ट.
Yeah. Not great. It's just that I think our sporting fraternity and decision makers are slightly obsessed with the fact that कि हाँ भाई world champion है. How can you miss out on the
नहीं नहीं,
on the world
बट वो अगर ऑब्सेशन होता ना तो वही फिर सिस्टम चेंज नहीं किया होता, राइट? पहले था, पिछले 2 ओलंपिक्स में दे यूज्ड टू डू इट बेस्ड ऑन द पास्ट 2 years परफॉर्मेंस इन इंटरनेशनल इवेंट्स.
हाँ बट वो पता नहीं ना सबका वैसा है या देयर वाज वन पर्टिकुलर पर्सन हु सॉर्ट ऑफ pushed for this policy. You don't know all of those things
ठीक
what
है,
goes at
we'll
the
see.
back end.
मतलब अकॉर्डिंग टू मी द मेन पुश फॉर द पॉलिसी वाज दैट ओनली के प्रीवियस ओलंपिक्स में इट्स नॉट वर्क. द प्रीवियस
हाँ,
पॉलिसी डिड नॉट वर्क, so now you have to try a new policy, and they have
yeah,
tried it, and you have this one guy who came out of nowhere, right?
yeah,
Ramita, okay, she may not be a team quota holder, but she was there right through. Anjum is a former Olympian, and she was going through a bad form, but she came through in the trials. There's really only this one guy, Sandeep Singh, who sort of came out of nowhere. So अब उसको ही तुम फिर भेजो नहीं तो फिर मतलब ही क्या है,
hmm.
फिर जरूरत ही
अंजुम
क्या
से
थी.
मेरे को याद आया I see Vasant is in the chat and he had made this bold prediction. I remember he Ashi Choksi is going to beat Sift and win the trials very very comfortably. Do you remember that, Vasant? Yeah, but
ठीक
that
है.
never happened.
एंड इसमें एक्चुअली देखा जाए तो गैप सबसे ज्यादा है. मतलब ठीक है, स्विफ्ट और अंजुम आर वेरी क्लोज, बट उसके बाद ह्यूज 8 पॉइंट गैप बिटवीन द
Yeah.
थर्ड प्लेस। वो स्विफ्ट का 2 पॉइंट कोटा की वजह से थोड़ा गैप आ जाता है, अदरवाइज स्कोर्स वाइज तो अंजुम एंड स्विफ्ट आर राइट देयर विद ईच अदर।
Hmm.
या
And one thing, Kapil, talking about disappointment, I think if we are talking about Rudransh, we have to talk about one major disappointment in Mehuli. So again, Mehuli ka when we last discussed, she was checking both the boxes. One being consistent enough, two being having a higher ceiling also. I don't know what went wrong in the trials. It's a major disappointment not seeing her in 10-meter air rifle.
yeah,
And I mean the scores that she came out with.
and she's also one of these shooters which has been shooting for a long time, and she hasn't gone to a single Olympics. So in fact, Kavita was actually getting sad about her. It's like वापस मेहुली मिस हो गई।
Okay.
उसको एक्चुअली मेहुली के लिए बुरा लग रहा था कि इट्स लाइक टोक्यो में भी मिस हो गया। शी वाज अराउंड देयर, नहीं शी वाज नॉट अराउंड देयर ड्यूरिंग रियो टाइम्स, बट
Yeah. And she missed out on the medal in Asian Games also.
या सो
Ramita actually won the bronze.
बट ठीक है, मतलब शी जस्ट हैड अ डिजास्टर स्टार्ट राइट।
Yeah.
630.7 is so and then 626
But ठीक
बाद
है.
में
I
भी
mean,
हाँ
if you've gotten it in you, like Aishwarya also, and we have to talk
हाँ
about him. I think after the disastrous start that he had, 590 plus on the trot,
या
including a 595, which is great.
yeah, I think score wise, if you're looking at the best three scores being at world class level, it might be Aishwarya at the top only.
Hmm.
Maybe with the rifle woman you can compete, or
Yeah.
but otherwise Aishwarya is right. That is probably 595, 590, 591 is probably the most world class you'll see.
Yeah, but not winning just one trial is personally for me disappointing. He should have done better there.
वो पहले
He
वाले में
he
ना
is better than
576,
that. नहीं,
obviously he
final में
हाँ अच्छा
he
अच्छा
just
फाइनल का बोल रहा है, ओके ओके ओके।
one thing is he finished in top three in all the finals, in all four finals, but he just won one final.
हाँ ओके।
Like the standard you see him is comparable to a Swift, right?
ठीक है।
So that way, and of course, last में जाते जाते we
मनु
have
भाकर।
to talk about Manu. I think she was the star of the entire trial, at least for me. Most valuable player बोलते हैं ना MVP.
यप
दोनों में टॉप किया यार 25 मीटर एंड 10 मीटर में. The only drawback that people have for her is, again, we know for 10 meters she's been a good final shooter, but she was somewhere missing out and not in the peak form that she was some years back. That got back, scored a couple of 580 plus in qualification in 10 meter. But over and above that, जो उसका सबसे बड़ा पेन पॉइंट है, not performing good in 25-meter
द
finals.
फाइनल्स या
I think that sort of went away with these trials.
I think 47 on 50, right? That's how she started. I
Yeah,
mean, Pela score was 582, which now looks weak when you compare to this 585s and 586s. But this point 6 was 47 on 50 is incredible, yeah. I think world record is somewhere like
incredible.
41, 42 कुछ है।
42 and I think एक और बार भी she shot around 40 or 40 plus ऐसा कुछ किया.
नहीं, but 40 plus और 47 में बहुत फर्क है, that's what I'm saying.
फर्क है नहीं नहीं. My point is 47 one day it can be a one off performance, but to repeat another world class performance, that means that she's shooting very very well right now.
Yeah. एंड या मनु डेफिनेटली, और दोनों ट्रायल मतलब आई थिंक रीजनेबली आराम से जीती है राइट। मे बी नॉट सो मच 25 मीटर तो ओके 5 पॉइंट गैप ईयर, एंड 10 मीटर में कितना था, लेट्स जस्ट सी। 10 मीटर में भी अबाउट
Another
लाइक
3 point.
पॉइंट गैप, या सो
Yeah.
रीजनेबली कंफर्टेबली दोनों में। एंड रिदम एंड ईशा बाय द वे दैट्स द अदर वन हु दे स्विच्ड positions. In general, I think most people would say maybe Isha is slightly better 10 meter and Rhythm is slightly better 25 meter. बट वहां पे शिफ्ट हो गई। रिदम का एक ये थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम था, द शी डिड वेरी वेल इन दिल्ली इन 10 मीटर, बट द भोपाल के स्कोर्स 573 एंड 572 वरी हुआ। 573
Hmm.
एंड 5 बिकॉज हर 584 वाज सो गुड इन ट्रायल टू शी मेड इट,
Yeah. Yeah.
बट
Exactly.
बट दैट 573 572 डज वरी यू।
Yep. True that.
But ठीक है, overall great team, fully behind it,
Yeah.
and we'll see how they do. Asia also, by the way, 585, 586, those scores are pretty good. जो पहले
Pretty
ज़्यादा
good.
नहीं
Yes.
आते थे.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, you want to give some predictions? Which event you are looking forward to most, or something?
I was just coming to that. I won't give any predictions, but we definitely. I know you're traveling to Paris much before, but we have to look. Kapil, we have done a couple of streams on shooting. We talk about shooting a lot, but none of this is useful if we don't have the competition in front of you and whom are you competing against. I think that sort of builds your overall perspective, and we should do that, and we'll do it like
तो जो लास्ट टाइम जो
sometime
एक्सेल
closer
वाली स्लीप की थी वो तू बोल रहा है?
on similar lines to those. Maybe देख लेंगे वैसे ही करना है या और कुछ different तरीके से करना है, but yes, exactly like last time जो की थी.
हाँ, we'll try
Because
to work.
उससे उससे actually आपको पता चलता है even if you're shooting a 592 in 53p, where are you positioned? There might be 15 other shooters who are shooting better than that.
हाँ ठीक है, we'll work out. I think maybe जून में we should be able to do something.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, RCB हार चुका है. I just saw in the comment, as usual.
Okay.
पहले धोनी को आउट
ठीक
कर
है.
दिया, फिर अब हार भी गया खुद ही. Whatever.
Hmm.
चलो, कहाँ जाना है बोलो.
ठीक है. I think so. That's about shooting, right?
बोल, बैडमिंटन जाना है.
हाँ, बैडमिंटन में
बैडमिंटन
भी
है, हॉकी
ज़्यादा
है.
कुछ है नहीं. बैडी का I think it was just Thomas and Uber Cup which happened from the last time we did this live.
एंड थाईलैंड ओपन जो अभी ये लोग जीते, मतलब it wasn't the
It was
strongest field.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
wasn't the
field
strongest
wasn't
field.
strong. Hmm. हाँ,
But
we'll talk about Sachi also. So I think चलो ठीक है, सात्विक
थोड़ा बहुत
चिराग
बात
की
कर
बात
लेते हैं.
करते हैं. थॉमस कप में obviously they were not at their best and वहाँ पे they lost to again the Chinese pair Wang Liang and किससे
दो
uh,
मैच हारे ना, एक चाइना
हाँ
से हारे और
इंडोनेशियन
एक
से आ रहे थे शायद.
वो फिक्री एंड मौलाना. हाँ, आई रिमेम्बर
हाँ
फिक्री.
फिक्री एंड मौलाना से आ
And
रहे थे,
yeah,
राइट.
and I in fact remember ke I think Jillian was going on in commentary ke their problem is the tumble serve. So this Molana and Fikri, they possess
They do.
this tumble serve जो
Hmm.
lift नहीं कर पा रहे साची. And
Hmm.
she was in fact going to that extent कि Satvik Chirag will be very happy that Molana and Fikri are not in Paris, because this tumble serve weakness has been exposed now. And if other
But we don't know that, right? They are not
that
in
was,
Paris.
no,
It's
before
not
that.
announced yet.
हाँ ठीक है, मतलब qualification has been done, so qualification wise they should not make in Paris. So that's what.
I mean, Indonesia can decide for
Yeah,
them
yeah,
to go in Paris, right? And not Aldian and Ardian.
yeah. I get that.
Alfred and
I'm just
Ardian.
saying what she was saying. She was saying this कि they will be very happy कि Molana and Fikri should not be in Paris, because ranking wise it should be Alfie and Adrian. तो अब वो change कर दिया तो बात अलग है. But so they should not be, and they have that tumble serve which is troubling them, and it has been exposed now. So maybe the other pairs can also, if they can start doing that, it can trouble Sachi. And honestly, I searched, Googled किया था मैंने कि what exactly a tumble serve is. Obviously, from the name itself, you get it's a serve where the shuttle wobbles and tumbles maybe a little more than usual. But honestly, Google पे ना, if you search for tumble serve, it goes back to that spin serve which was
Yeah, yeah.
banned. तो तुझे पता है क्या
Abhi
exactly?
recently, I don't know. I'll have to read up on it. But
uh,
recently, in the lower level tournaments, a few players had started, and I think it was some Korean who had started it, and then BWF actually came to the action and they had banned it. It's
हाँ,
not. The story is not too long ago, right?
yeah, but
I
that is a
don't
spin
know
serve,
कि
but that's a different serve. That's what I'm saying.
हाँ.
So
तो
वो
टम्बल सर्व पे I don't have much idea how much of it is allowed or if there are any
नहीं नहीं,
rules
अलाउड
and
तो है ही,
regulations around
अलाउड
it.
तो है ही, उसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है, क्योंकि स्पिन सर्व यूज्ड टू बी कि लाइक तुम यू टेक द शटल एंड यू स्पिन इट लाइक दिस, राइट? मतलब
Yeah, but ठीक है, we are discussing that, but that cannot be the only reason for their loss, right? They do look vulnerable against a few particular pairs. They against the Koreans, again against the Chinese, right? तो वो
तुषार
vulnerability है, ऐसा नहीं है कि पूरा full on domination है that they are the world number ones and
या अभी तो
unbeatable.
इनफैक्ट काफी वल्नरेबल लग रहे हैं. तुषार इज बाय द वे सेइंग के टम्बल सर्व वाज पॉपुलराइज्ड बाय केविन.
Hmm.
So matlab,
could be.
so matlab, I've heard this term on commentary before also, but I tried to find out what exactly it is और मुझे कुछ मिला नहीं. So I was just gonna ask अगर तुझे कुछ पता है तो.
Yeah, I don't have much idea on it.
Hmm.
करते होंगे, but I know that Satvik and Chirag have this problem, and Satvik's brother keeps on tweeting about it. He's been doing it for many years now. That their problem is that they can't read this tumble serve,
Hmm.
and yes, definitely an area of improvement for them. But I don't think it's like a factor for them which makes them lose the match. It's a problem, but वो detrimental factor नहीं है basically.
पता नहीं क्योंकि एटलीस्ट जिलियन वाज वेरी स्ट्रांग के मौलाना एंड फिक्री के खिलाफ दे लॉस्ट द प्रीवियस 2 मैचेस राइट हेड टू हेड में
हाँ,
सो
ऑल इंग्लैंड में और यहाँ पे.
एंड शी वाज सेइंग लाइक दिस इज द पेयर व्हिच possesses that killer tumble serve which Sachi are not being able to handle but other pairs don't have it so other
Yeah.
pairs if they develop it that's a different story and there's too little time to develop but so from that perspective, they will be happy कि those guys are not there. Parijat is saying कि maybe it court में drift बहुत था and maybe I don't know if you're implying कि tumble serve becomes even more dangerous when there's drift, but that could also be a aspect. I don't know.
Drift is always there in every court, right?
नहीं
The
नहीं but
bigger
कम
the
ज्यादा तो होता ही है
stadium,
ना कम ज्यादा तो होती ही
हम
है
ज़्यादा होता है, but usually you'll see every tournament
थोड़ा तो
players
होगा ही
are complaining there was a lot of drift, there was a lot of drift. Every now and then there would be some players who would say there was a lot of drift. So कभी भी किसी भी tournament का you can't gauge कि इस tournament में drift ज़्यादा थी या नहीं थी. At
ठीक है
least that's how I look at it.
ठीक है या सो इन जनरल साची का वही था इसलिए that those results around the Thomas Cup were definitely a little disappointing.
Yeah, yeah. I think,
Uh,
but is they do have 3 or 4 more tournaments to go before Paris.
hmm.
उससे at least ये clear हो जाएगा कि was the tumble serve actually a problem for them, or they are actually looking what I feel is a
A
little
little
vulnerable,
vulnerable.
right?
Like,
Although Thailand Open में they looked pretty clean and pretty solid,
yeah,
and
मतलब the competition was weak, but it still does give you confidence, right? They
yeah,
basically just breezed through. They were not troubled at
yeah.
all right through. So that definitely gives you some confidence there.
And
Okay,
it's very rare
सही बात है.
also, right? You know that an Indian athlete is entering an event
Hmm,
to win it,
hmm.
and they actually end up doing that. बहुत बहुत rare instances ही होते हैं हमारे केस में. तो
ठीक
yeah,
है मतलब you're saying कि the favorite wins it. Yeah,
yes,
let's
नहीं
see.
होता ना ज़्यादा.
मतलब अब वैसे अब तुम ओलंपिक्स में बात करोगे तो टोटल 2 गोल्ड है तो देन उसमें फिर क्या आगे बात करोगे
मतलब ओलंपिक्स में नहीं, जनरल में बात कर रहा था, but yeah, anyways. And I think one more thing sort of got confirmed for Satvik and Chirag is I don't think they are going to go below top 4 now
अच्छा
till the seeding cutoff.
हम्म
So that's pretty much confirmed that top 4 seeds are more or less decided. That also means at least in the group stage, they don't face off against the Chinese Wang and Liang, against the Koreans, right? Seo and Kang, the 2 pairs who have beaten them this year,
हम्म
and the third one would be the Malaysian pair who, anyways, have been sort of क्या
ओल्ड
बोलते हैं?
नेमेसिस लेट्स से
Old nemesis. Yes, nemesis is the right word. So that is a good thing. But so group stage में at least they won't face these 3 teams. But yeah, let's see how
सो मतलब
that
अल्फा
pans
ने
out.
अभियान तो भी कंफर्म्ड है कांट गेट टू द टॉप 4
No, मतलब जा सकते हैं. I haven't done
हाँ मतलब
calculations
रेयर
as
केस
such,
होगा
but
लेकिन हो जाना चाहिए
हाँ,
सही
हाँ, मतलब top 2 तो top 3 rather. I don't think they're going to get displaced.
ठीक है सो या लिटिल बिट ऑफ अप एंड डाउन देयर फ्रॉम Satvik Chirag and beyond that Sindhu made a comeback yesterday sorry today in fact today ना कल था
Yeah.
हाँ you saw the match I actually missed that match मैंने बस देखा कि it was a grind out against Gilmore in straight games so which is like more pretty much on expected lines so I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw the match
No, I didn't. Yes, अभी तो ठीक है. She's just starting on it. We'll see how the tournament goes for her.
Hmm.
किस में I don't even know the draws कैसे हैं इस पर्टिकुलर टूर्नामेंट के, किससे नेक्स्ट मैच है या क्या.
I
बट
think
या वी
I think it's
नीड टू
Hanyu in
मॉनिटर.
the quarters.
ओके.
No, it's a top seed in the quarters. I think that is Hanyu. It's but it's top seed in the quarters.
ऑलराइट. ठीक है, सिंधु का दैट इज अबाउट इट. मेन सिंगल्स में अगेन स्विचिंग बैक टू थॉमस कप. आई थिंक स्पेशली फॉर प्रणॉय, टू मी पर्सनली ही लुक गुड, and especially his match against Shiuchi. I think I don't know. Maybe I'm over exaggerating here, but it's just an honest opinion that the first game that he won against Yuchi, I think that's the best I've seen Pranoy play so far in all these years. Maybe he was better in World Championship where he won the bronze. I did not see those matches, so I don't know. But जितना मैंने प्रणॉय का देखा है, that first game was absolutely brilliant, and he was, top notch and playing really, really well against a peak Yuchi, who
Peak
I
Yuchi,
feel is like a not on paper, but otherwise he's the world number one right now. वो चीज मेरे को अच्छी लगी. लक्ष्य का अगेन beating Shifang for the second time in 2 months. I rate Shifang very high because he comes up with his best game in almost all the major tournaments. So that ways he has that, champion wala jo attitude and hota hai ek aura. He has that, and Chinese also rate him very high. तो उसको दोबारा हराया, and beating a Chinese in China is a big deal. So that was good. Not able to crack Christie's code still for Laksh. That is something I would like to see, because I feel Christie is beatable. Maybe not in the present form. Like he's also अभी तो in very red hot form, right? कौन सा जीता था? All England he won, right?
I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
possibly.
हाँ, I think Christie won All England, और
I
उसके
think
बाद भी कुछ तो जीता है वो.
was it all Indonesian in North England?
हाँ हाँ हाँ, yes, it was Ginting and Christie, no, and Christie won it. तो वही है लक्ष्य का. Again, he's there among the best on his day, but sometimes vulnerable also. Basically, you can't predict a lot from him what is coming or from him on that particular day.
हाँ, मुझे तो ऑनेस्टली यार थोड़ा मेन सिंगल्स में कंसर्न ही है. व्हाट यू आर सेइंग अबाउट नोनो, इट्स फाइन. उसका वही है, ही गोज अप एंड डाउन. थाईलैंड में ही देन मतलब आफ्टर प्लेइंग दैट गेम अगेंस्ट शियूची
Yeah,
मैच तो
losing to Miraba.
या लूजिंग टू मिराबा एंड प्रणॉय का हमेशा मुझे सबसे ज्यादा कंसर्न ऑलवेज लगता है कि हाउ इज ही डूइंग वंस ही हैज हाउ इज ही डूइंग लेट्स से ऑन हिज थर्ड डे ऑफ प्लेइंग और फोर्थ डे ऑफ प्लेइंग. फर्स्ट डे ऑफ प्लेइंग, सेकंड डे ऑफ प्लेइंग इज फाइन. तीसरे चौथे दिन में तकलीफ होने लग जाती है.
I don't see it that way, Kapil. वो I know तेरा वो viewpoint
आई
है,
नो
and maybe
तेरा
you're
है.
right also, stamina.
नहीं बट
But
उसका
I
वो
don't
भी है.
think stamina problem उसकी है. It's in fact it's one of his. Maybe it could be one of his strengths, is for all you know, because
नहीं
he
बट
has
आई
that
थिंक
knack of playing longer matches.
but that itself is a problem, right? मतलब I agree कि he has this knack of playing longer matches. और मतलब स्टाइल ही थोड़ा वैसा है, that controlled aggression type of style. लेकिन then problem ये कि every time those early matches are going 3 games and it eventually always shows up in the third fourth day. अब तुम ये भले ही बोल लो कि okay, you know, he doesn't have stamina to go 5 days, और you say कि always ही long खेलता है जिसकी वजह से third fourth day पे problem हो जाती है. But whichever way you look at it, it's happening. It's not कि it's not happening. Doesn't matter, right, why it's happening, because he's not been
Ah,
able to win those early matches in 2 games.
yeah, so that could be a skill problem. I don't know, but is it a stamina problem?
I don't
I
know,
am sure about that. That's not the
whatever,
case.
but yeah, so I have concerns only. लक्ष्य का वही है. या लक्ष्य का तो यार वही बात है, एक मैच में कुछ हो रहा है, दूसरे मैच में कुछ हो रहा है. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू प्रिडिक्ट. बट या ऑनेस्टली बैडमिंटन से होप्स ऑनेस्टली थोड़ी कमी है मेरी तो.
Yeah, I remember you used
I'm
to
again
say a similar thing before a major tournament.
hmm.
Asian Games से पहले you didn't have much
नहीं,
hopes, and
I
then you
I don't know
changed your
when it was, but I do remember I said कि मेरी hopes कम हो रही है, and then we had one or two good performances, and then you asked me, and I said कि नहीं, okay, my hopes are coming back, and now again they are starting to go down a little. So let's see.
Look, for men singles, it's an open field. Even though there are good performers who are, making them stand out against rest of the field, like Yuchi and Christie, primarily these two. Axelsen is obviously, not operating at his best level, so he's also vulnerable. So it's still an open field, and men singles may, as you would see, top 16 are able to beat each other all the time, right? तो वो चीज taking that into consideration, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि they can't do it. At least we have that positive
ठीक है.
that they have in them to do it. Will they able to do it on a particular given day? For that, I go back to my old theory that from what I've seen historically, Indian badminton players tend to do well in major tournaments when they go well prepared for it. So yeah,
But
we'll
you're
see.
getting a feeling that they're well prepared this time.
They will.
They will be. ठीक
Yeah.
है, चलो. We have talked enough badminton. I think wrestling कर रहे हैं. Wrestling is a major event जो अपन ने किया नहीं. It's already getting
Yes.
11:45.
Yes. Let's do it.
So yeah, wrestling में I mean one line में तो it's pretty simple. Women good, men bad. उसके आगे
Okay.
it's a
That's nicely summed up.
one line summary तो वही है, women good, men bad. But yeah, उसके आगे obviously even Aman he had to go to that final qualifier to get it done. He
तो
got
क्या हो गया?
he
There
got
are there are wrestlers who have won silver medal in Olympics from qualifying in the last
नहीं
tournament.
नहीं
If
नहीं,
you
क्या
remember,
नहीं क्या हो गया मतलब he got teched against Abdullayev, so that was the
that
concern.
was that was a concern for sure.
So the concern वो उधर से आता है कि got teched against Abdullayev, and obviously others, Sujit was close, Jaideep was close, Deepak was honestly disappointing. I actually had hopes from Deepak. वो अपना discussion भी हुआ है कि I generally have a little more hopes from Deepak than you do. So वहाँ पे था. So
दीपक
yeah,
का तो वही है ना, दीपक का नाम सुनते ही एंड whatever happened to him, obviously it was unfortunate, but it takes me back to our conversation from Tokyo Olympics after he lost that close bout, that
hmm,
it was his best chance in the world to
yeah.
grab a medal. उसके बाद मतलब I don't know, मैंने तो यही expect किया था, it will be a downward slope for him, and which is what is happening since Tokyo.
Yeah, I was expecting him to come through, but didn't happen. I will say one thing though, there was a lot of talk obviously about Deepak and Sujit missing the Asian qualifier, and obviously it was an extremely unfortunate situation where मतलब डेजर्ट में अब यार बाढ़ आ गई तो कोई क्या कर सकता है. It was literally like that कि डेजर्ट में तूफान आ गया, so can't do much. But the only thing I will say is कि both of them eventually they went to the final qualifier, and both of them did lose to Asians. तो इट्स नॉट लाइक कि एशियन क्वालिफायर में हो गया होता, ये गारंटीड था. दीपक लॉस्ट टू चाइना एंड सुजीत लॉस्ट टू मंगोलिया. Sujit did eventually get a second chance through the bronze medal match, and he lost to US there, but he did even lose to Mongolia, and
Mm.
उसमें Asian qualifier में there were no second chances. So there are actually wrestlers who have gone to the Asian qualifier who didn't qualify, other than Sujit and Deepak as well, who then qualified through the world qualifier or whatever.
Yeah.
So
And
there is that aspect as well.
Sujit की category में, if you look at it from a macro perspective, it's like a big
Big
major
jam, log jam.
pity in a way for us that 65 में we are not able to send anyone. One category where we have been winning medal from so many Olympics. पिछले 4 Olympics में 3 बार medal लेके आए हैं. सुशील
हाँ,
twice, not
yeah,
3 बार
twice.
भी, 4 बार.
नहीं, 3 बार.
सुशील twice, योगेश्वर, and
योगेश्वर was
then
60, तो योगेश्वर को 60 I think
योगेश्वर
you
was
can't
60.
count.
Yes. So 3 then. Bajrang, Sushil.
Yeah, so Sushil was 66 by the way, for anybody wondering.
Same thing
हाँ
only.
नहीं नहीं, I'm saying to the chat because वो people
Technically, yeah,
associate, हाँ
66.
people associate him more with 74 these days, right? क्योंकि करियर में एंड में वैसे हुआ,
Hmm.
but the medals were actually in 66, तो वो
Yeah,
वाली बात है.
yeah.
Yeah, but women at least did very well. That was the
They
good part.
did very well, and I think we are
Hmm.
sending a very strong team also, Kapil.
Yeah, I agree.
All of them look very strong.
The bottom three for sure, which is your Vinesh, Antim, and Anshu. Bottom three weight categories. That's what I meant. So Vinesh, Antim, and Anshu, they are definitely, if they are peak fitness, weight cuts and everything get managed. अंतिम भी injury से आ रही है, so we don't really know कि उधर हो क्या रहा है. But
Hmm.
provided they are all at peak fitness, they are all three of them are medal contenders.
Yeah.
And then Nisha also has shown she can do things.
Hmm.
उसका एक हमेशा मेरे को थोड़ा स्टेमिना का इशू लगता है निशा का, but that might work in a favor at the Olympics. जो मैंने I tweeted out because it's the event is split into 4 different sessions across 2 days, so it might be better for Nisha. And then Ritika is a bit of a wild card, right? She has that under three
She is
world.
a huge wild card.
Uh,
Absolutely.
she has the under 23 world championship to her name. Seniors में अभी भी आई है, but she is and we only saw her compete in Asian. In fact,
And it's an open field in 76 kg with no one particular wrestler being dominant.
mm, yeah,
ठीक है, like a quick trivia here, there have been a few legendary wrestlers also in 76.
mm,
I'm not asking you the name of the wrestler. Do you know which country won 76 kg in Tokyo? Women's? Just take
टोक्यो
a
में
guess.
टोक्यो में
Hmm.
अच्छा, अब तो गैस बोल रहा है तो आई डोंट नो, some somewhere in Europe, I'm gonna say
Still in Europe also.
some like let's say Germany or Hungary or
Whoa.
something like that.
Bang on.
Hmm.
It is Germany indeed.
नहीं, but the way you ask पता चल जाता है, राइट? अगर तूने डायरेक्टली पूछा होता,
Ah,
my guess would have been USA.
yeah,
ट्रिविया
but
की तरह
that's
पूछा
not the
होता तो हाँ.
point. But I mean, the point is, do you even see Germany on wrestling, uh, like
Not so
in
strong, but
wrestling
you see
ecosystem,
here and
right?
there, right? You see here and there.
Very rarely here and
Not
there.
so
The
strong, but yeah.
point is, it's a very open field. There is no one particular dominant wrestler, and that makes it favorable for Ritika. And she herself looks very solid. Obviously, we'll have to analyze the competition in much more detail. कि हाँ
Hmm.
किसकी क्या achievement है and who stands where in terms of their world level.
Hmm.
Head
But
to head कैसा रहा है रितिका का and all of those things.
76 का थोड़ा वो भी है, I kind of feel कि maybe Asia is a little weak in 76 as compared to the other categories. So in some ways, if she had actually gone to the world qualifier and competed, I would have had more confidence. But because she came through in Asian qualifier when maybe the competition is not that strong, you don't quite know world level पे क्या होगा. But yeah, she does have and under 23 is like quite late also, right? It's not like under 19 or something. So you don't
Quite
know
late as in.
age wise. So it's like under 19, it's like
Hmm.
under 19, so it's like too young. Under 23, I don't know how the field was, but if everybody under 23 is competing, that's a pretty strong field.
Yeah. I think
But
a
I
lot
don't
of
think the
them
top
are.
product
Like, I
competed.
remember the US wrestler who has qualified in 76. Ritika has already beaten her because she also comes from under 23.
But वो तो ठीक
So,
है, वो तो एडिलिन ग्रे का बात का है, राइट? कि एडिलिन ग्रे was the legend who's not coming, so now they are replacing. So you don't know
yeah,
उधर क्या situation है.
I think Adeline Gray lost. It's not like she has withdrawn or something.
ठीक है,
She
एक ही बात है,
lost.
मतलब इन द ट्वाइलाइट ऑफ अ करियर तुम कैसे भी बोल दो, विड्रॉ और लॉस्ट व्हाटएवर.
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ,
जैसे बजरंग also lost, right? That doesn't mean कि सुजीत is stronger than peak बजरंग.
हाँ, वो भी है, that's true.
ठीक है, देखते हैं. बट यार रेसलिंग में ज्यादातर उम्मीद तो वुमेन से ही है. अमन कैन स्प्रिंग अ सरप्राइज. ही इज definitely in the mix, but you probably have more of some of the women in the wrestling.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think काफी strong team है and we ठीक है junior का it's always a different system,
हाँ,
but
yeah,
it
you
was
don't know
long
क्या.
coming for us also कि the way we have been performing at junior level, maybe it somehow starts trickling up in senior also.
ठीक है, you
तो
want to
देखते हैं.
just give a quick opinion on trials?
Trials ka my only opinion is it's a very funny situation honestly, and I I totally agree. I saw Vinay's tweet and his point. I mean, earlier the point was these wrestlers are protesting because they don't want the trials. They want to go to Paris directly. Now, the same bunch of people have changed their stance into there should not be trials because injury हो सकती है फलाना ढिमकाना. I mean, क्या ही बोल सकते हो आप? कुछ
ठीक है यार.
बोलने के लिए है ही नहीं.
नहीं, ठीक है, प्रोटेस्ट के बारे में तो कुछ बोल ही नहीं सकते, वो तो छोड़ ही दो. माय ओनली थिंग वाज कि मतलब ट्रायल होने चाहिए कि नहीं होने चाहिए, उसमें मतलब if I just want to give my opinion on that, first thing obviously is that the situation is dirty, right? मतलब the situation is very bad in the sense that you ideally want a situation where the process has been put in place well in advance, जैसे shooting में हुआ, right? Shooting के अभी last minute पे अगर ये trial advance announce हो गए होते, all the quota holders would have undoubtedly shouted there, right? कि हम quota जीते, तुमने कुछ process बनाया नहीं, suddenly you are saying कि trials कर लो and we don't get much advantage, whatever. So obviously, the ideal scenario there is the process should have been firmly in place long back, okay,
Mm.
which was not there. Given it is not there, in my opinion, the ideal process is that you don't want to do a trial again for somebody who's won a trial in the past 2 months only, but you want to do a trial again for somebody who's won the trial last 10 months ago. So that is my opinion. But yeah, in this situation, there is no right solution.
Yeah, yeah. And I think what helps them in not having trial is, I mean, it might have made the situation more difficult if, let's say, we would have known, especially in Ravi's case, 57 kg, that he's still there, but Ravi himself has shown enough vulnerabilities. तो उसके पास भी as such इतना कोई बड़ा case है नहीं that he should be tested for one more trial.
हाँ वो तो
Trials मना कर दिए हैं, no trials. So I think it's the right decision only, considering it's one closer to the Olympics. They need to get into that preparatory zone, which they haven't had a lot of time in doing that. And फिर से वही trials होंगे, then they need to
cut weight and everything.
cut weight and then redo it again. So yeah.
But yeah, I'll tell you the worst case scenario here ना would be के right now उन लोग ने ट्रायल बोल दिया कि ट्रायल नहीं होगा. Now the wrestlers who don't have quotas, they will most likely go to court. Okay. And by the way, I definitely did not like this factor. मुझे definitely feeling आई कि there was a PR narrative set there कि trials नहीं होने चाहिए. I don't think all these wrestlers are by themselves coming and giving 50 interview कि there should not be trial because we'll be injured. I think ऊपर से कहीं पे कुछ indication आया है कि you go and do this. So now once the narrative is set कि all of you are saying कि we don't want trials, then we'll cancel the trials. तो मेरे को लगता है यहाँ पे कुछ थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है अकॉर्डिंग टू मी. बट ठीक है, वट एवर इट इज, forget all that. But the worst case scenario here now will be कि if you have other wrestlers who don't have quotas, who will now go to court, and there is a written document given to at least to Vinesh, we know कि there is a written document given कि जो पिछले ट्रायल में टॉप 4 थे, they will have another trial. So वो written document को now court has to come and openly say कि नहीं, we cannot do this trial, this document is not valid, the rule
But
change is valid,
tell
etc.,
me
etc.
one thing.
Hmm.
Have we had cases before in wrestling where wrestlers have gone to the court?
But did they anyone have a written document कि WFA ने promise किया कि this is
नहीं
the
नहीं,
process?
written document नहीं था. That's a valid point. But
Hmm.
what I'm trying to say is, previously also, because there was a Gunda Raj in the sport,
Hmm.
and wrestlers as such did not have the guts to go against the president.
Hmm.
So that ways, that sort of culture was always there, that wrestling is one particular sport. बाकी sports में फिर भी athletes भर भर के जाते हैं, they sort of appeal in the court, but wrestling में I feel usually does not happen.
नहीं, कोर्ट तो गई है, कोर्ट केस का कुछ
कौन
निकला
गया
नहीं
है,
है.
वही तो पूछ रहा हूँ.
अरे
पहले
2000
कौन गया?
अरे 2004 में कृपा शंकर बिश्नोई गया था अगेंस्ट योगेश्वर दत्त. वहां पे ना ये डिसीजन आया था कि कोटा विनर विल गो. देन सुशील अगेन वेंट फॉर इन दैट सुशील नरसिंह केस.
हाँ वो तो ठीक
उसके
है, that was a exceptional case. वो तो it
उसके
was
बाद
all there
अभी
on the news.
अभी एशियन गेम्स के पहले भी फिर है ना सुजीत वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट गोइंग, राइट, जब बजरंग को डायरेक्ट
He
दिया था.
was talking about, but गया नहीं ना.
नहीं, आई थॉट ही वेंट, आई डोंट नो ही वेंट और नॉट. इफ यू आर सेइंग इट डोंट वेंट, तो डिडंट वेंट.
नहीं, कोर्ट केस तो नहीं इनिशिएट हुआ था. I don't think so.
But honestly, I will be surprised अगर court case initiate नहीं होता. It's possible, but I will be surprised. And the worst case scenario will be कि court case initiate होता है and then the court comes out and say कि do trials. That would be the worst case scenario, because then you would have to do trials very close.
Yeah, obviously that's even bad.
But yeah, hopefully मतलब ठीक है यार, अब रेसलिंग में ये भी नहीं बोल सकते कि होपफुली थिंग्स गेट रिजॉल्व, बिकॉज वी नो कि द मैनेजमेंट डिडंट रियली चेंज. सो बट या, इट इज व्हाट इट इज. सिचुएशन इज pretty, management wise the situation could not be worse, honestly speaking.
Yeah, yep. And also now on top of it, they I don't know, they are making it mandatory for them to enter the Hungarian ranking tournament where their fitness will be assessed, is what
तो फिर
the
क्या है,
president is saying.
फिर क्या कि नो
कि
ट्रायल यार, फिर क्या मतलब है उसका?
मतलब वहाँ पे ये है कि their fitness will be closely monitored and क्योंकि July 8 is I think the cut off date to enter the team.
वो तो
सो
काफी लेट
दे
है.
स्टिल हैव, हाँ, तो
वो तो
इसीलिए
काफी लेट.
हंगेरियन रैंकिंग में यही था ना, विनेश का इंटरव्यू था इन सम आर्टिकल, शी वाज अगेन ब्लास्टिंग बैशिंग डब्ल्यूएफआई कि वही उन्होंने कुछ टाइमलाइन वाइज सिस्टमैटिक प्रोसीजर नहीं बनाया है, अब ट्रायल्स के लिए मना कर दिया है और अब बोल रहे हैं हंगेरियन रैंकिंग सीरीज में दिल बी रीअसेस्ड अगेन,
ठीक है,
right?
ये
Which
नहीं पढ़ा
essentially
मैंने.
means the same thing. कि they'll have to be prepared again, weight cut करना पड़ेगा और it's basically a very grey zone कि assess करोगे आप किस पैरामीटर्स पे करोगे
मैं इंडिया
आपको
में तो
नहीं पता.
असेस होता है कि मेडल मिला कि नहीं मिला, उस बेसिस पे असेस होता है.
हाँ, तो वही ना, वो वहाँ पे भी सब्जेक्टिव
फिर तो
चीज
यार
है,
बहुत बेकार है,
फेवरेटिज्म
फिर तो बहुत
हो
कुछ,
सकता है,
बहुत
आई डोंट नो.
प्रॉब्लमेटिक काम है यार वो तो.
तो
यू आर सेइंग कि
वही है.
दैट इज एक्चुअली फर्म, तब तो बहुत प्रॉब्लमेटिक काम है वो.
हाँ, so this statement was actually accompanied with the trial statement that okay, we have decided we are not having trials, but we will have a assessment done in Hungary.
दैट इज इवन वर्स यार, इससे तो फिर ट्रायल ही कर लेते.
तो वही है, आई थिंक वो विनेश का ही प्रॉब्लम है, बाकियों में आई
मतलब
डोंट
दे
थिंक
आर
इट्स गोइंग
बेसिकली
टू बी एन
फाइंडिंग वेज
इशू.
कि हम विनेश को कैसे बाहर निकाले, दैट्स व्हाट यू आर सेइंग.
आई डोंट नो, आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट, बट that could be thought of that ways. At least that's what comes after reading, what Vinesh has to say. She's definitely skeptical about it.
ठीक है, चलो देखते हैं यार. आई मीन रेसलिंग में तो वही प्रॉब्लम है यार, वट एवर वी डू, मैनेजमेंट का तो एकदम ही बेकार है. सब अपने रेसलर्स के ही भरोसे हैं, होपफुली दे कैन शाइन. बट या, फेडरेशन इज डेफिनेटली इन द वे एज मच एज दे कैन. ठीक है, उसके अलावा आई थिंक एक टेबल टेनिस है, एक हॉकी है, द मेजर वंस विच वी हैवंट टॉक्ड अबाउट, छोटे मोटों के अलावा. यू वांट टू टॉक टेबल टेनिस क्विकली?
I was actually looking forward to it because I would, मतलब हमारी इसमें बात भी नहीं हुई, we keep on discussing and exchanging notes otherwise also, but mainly तो TT का the main talking point is Archana's selection ahead of Aika, right?
उसके पहले मानिका का विक्ट्री ओवर चाइना यार, वो कहाँ से भूल
हाँ
गए?
हाँ, उस पे भी कर लेंगे
हाँ.
रिकैप. चल ठीक है, लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम दैट.
हाँ.
सऊदी स्मैश यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट,
Yeah,
राइट?
Saudi smash and she got to the quarterfinals. And I mean, I keep repeating this, Singapore smash and Saudi smash are basically like the grand slams of table tennis. So Singapore smash में Sharad got to the quarters, and Saudi smash में Manika got to the quarters, beating high ranked players, beating Wang Manu, who was the only one who won both her matches in the team event. So now you have that situation where the top three Chinese have all been beaten by Indians in like the past, let's say, 4 months or whatever. So I mean, for me, that was a gigantic achievement there. And ranking भी improve हो गई, श्रीजा की भी ranking कितनी improve हुई है. She's done well in smaller events. So women TT are, starting to get to a point के can they create a shock? Maybe not medal, but can they create some sort of shock in Paris? It's getting to that point.
And it's only 16 teams there as well, right?
Yeah, team में भी and even individual में, मतलब ठीक है, they won't, I don't see them winning medals or anything, but they can, get through like 3-4 rounds there. So women is definitely giving you some promise, and a lot of it maybe has to do with the rubber, because the Indian women team has really committed to this fact that we are gonna try unusual rubbers, and we see what happen, unusual rubber combinations and everything. So we'll see what happens with that, and it's working out at least so far. So it definitely gives you some hope there.
Yeah.
बोलो क्या हुआ?
कुछ नहीं, I mean, that's a quick recap. Manika obviously did really well. She's in top 25 now, and अच्छा है, like she also has point to prove considering a lot of fingers are pointed towards her since Tokyo. She did not do well in Tokyo, so
Hmm.
sort of have to make up for that as well. But yeah, I think my main talking points are again concerning Paris, because that's where some bit of controversy was created, or at least people tried creating around it.
Hmm.
Even I think we also discussed it last time that
Yeah.
who all three should be there. But did
हाँ
you see that coming
नहीं, I
from
did not.
anywhere?
नहीं मतलब last time तो we were discussing के can they maybe send Aika and Sutilta both for the
Sutil
doubles.
Pagod.
But
Yes,
once Shrija got into the top 40 or top 50 types, Shrija की एक बार ranking इतनी बड़ी and she started doing so well in singles that
singles. Yeah.
so at that point that was gone. So at that point it was like Manika and Shri and अगर Manika के ऊपर कोई doubt था तो she then also removed it completely in Saudi Smash. So Manika and Shrija were guaranteed. Once that was guaranteed, now you
I
have to
think
pick.
even before Saudi Smash in the team world team
हाँ
qualifier,
वो होना ही था, right?
Aika and Shrija came in the limelight because they had
Beat
beaten the
the
Chinese, but
Chinese
Manika was more consistent in that event
in
also.
the tournament, yeah. तो मतलब एक बार फिर हो गया कि मानिका एंड श्रीजा तो जाना ही है. So now you want a third player. But yeah, I was still expecting Aika only because एक तो she has beaten Sung Isha and the other is कि I thought, now I'm not that TT expert or anything, but I thought कि Aika का जो वो anti spin rubber है that might help even more in doubles. But then the other counterpoint which they have given recently for selecting Archana is that she was a partner of Manika in the past. So
Mm.
then they are looking at a Manika Archana doubles combination.
Yeah, I saw
But
that, and
but I don't
that is
know.
all. That is only what made me wonder. Like Aika and Srija ka combo couldn't work,
But वही हाँ Aika Shrija का भी they have been the national champions in the past, right? वो
so they
भी
have been.
2021 के they have been some national champions or something I read somewhere.
Oh, okay, okay.
So yeah, so and मेरा assumption यही था कि यार Manika has to play two singles, right? So now you're saying कि हम अर्चना
If
को
Manika
भेजेंगे.
and Archana pair up, so
हाँ
Shrija has to play two singles,
एग्जैक्टली
because
सो
obviously Manika
या
can play three matches, right? Acha, wo to, that is even against the rules also.
नहीं नहीं वो तो सिंपल है ना. वन पर्सन विल प्ले टू सिंगल्स
Two singles,
एंड टू पीपल विल प्ले वन सिंगल्स एंड वन डबल्स.
yeah,
तो
yeah.
वो तो क्लियर ही है. सो या
Mm,
मतलब इट वाज डेफिनेटली सरप्राइजिंग. द ओनली थिंग आई विल से इज के मतलब आई डोंट फॉलो टेबल टेनिस एज क्लोजली स्पेशली द डोमेस्टिक सीन to sort of rage about it कि why is Aika not there and Archana there. So मतलब I can say कि maybe I'll defer to the people who follow it more closely and who are better experts like coaches and whatever. But yeah, shocking to था ही. And
And tell me one thing,
and
outside of
हाँ.
Asian Games and the World Team qualifying event,
Hmm.
have we seen a Paika anywhere in international events? Like,
But
are there any
she keeps
good
competing.
performances?
हाँ, so she keeps competing, but वही बात है कि it's like an up and down performance only.
Competing though, but like in terms of like a significant
हाँ मतलब
result,
stellar.
she
हाँ नहीं मतलब
stellar performance, right?
हाँ जितना पता है वही पता है कि इट्स लाइक देयर वाज द एशियन गेम्स, देयर वाज द टीम क्वालिफायर, वो दो पता है. डबल्स में शी हैज सुतिलता के साथ फीडर वीडर में भी डबल्स में शी हैज डन वेरी वेल. डबल्स में सुतिलता नाई का नंबर वन पेयर एट द मोमेंट.
Mm.
The main question to be asked there is ke, does Aika need Sutilta to be that strong doubles player or does she not? So that is the question because उसमें फिर एक थोड़ी बहुत थियरी ये भी आती है कि it's like ये जो एंटी स्पिन रबर होता है and आइका का discussion revolves around that anti spin rubber which she has. So
Mhm.
एक थियरी ये भी आती है कि वो एंटी स्पिन रबर को हैंडल करने के लिए पार्टनर को भी एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए. So because when Aika will hit and it goes anti-spin, the opponent will reply. So even Sutita needs to practice with Aika to know what the thing is coming back. So वो भी एक theory है. So I don't know
This
if
is your theory, or you have
so.
read in some interview
So I had read this
about
from
someone saying.
Neha Agarwal, who's like a former TT Olympian, but she was talking about herself and Sharat.
Mm.
So she was saying that I think it was Sharat only. Yeah, she was saying that it is very difficult to play mixed doubles with Sharat because Sharat gives a lot of spin and then it comes back with even double spin and I have to handle it.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so मतलब so वहाँ से I'm inferencing.
Got it.
So yeah, so उस हिसाब से I don't know, but yeah, you can always defend it saying कि world ranking है. Honestly, मेरे को लगा कि maybe she got through because of she maybe has domestic better results, which I don't follow. But then I read somewhere कि domestic ranking में तो आयिका ही आगे है अर्चना से. So I
और
don't know.
एक बार ये ऐसा नहीं हुआ था that in some tournament I can't recall, Archana actually deserved the qualification, but
हाँ,
on paper, based on the selection
domestic,
policy
हाँ,
that the ad hoc committee had decided,
yeah.
they did not select Archana.
Yeah, it is actually a pretty much 180 for us. We have spent like CWG and AG, complaining as to why Elchana is not in the team, and now she's made the Olympic team, and we are complaining कि why is she in the team. तो वो 180 हुआ है.
But ठीक है, it's a good story for her that she's finally getting that justice.
देखते हैं. And by the way, आयिका is still the reserve player, right? So मतलब रैंकिंग वाइज तो मतलब सुतीर्था आयिका से भी आगे. सिंगल्स रैंकिंग अगर देखोगे तो फोर्थ प्लेयर शी इज स्टिल देयर. सो आई डोंट नो.
ठीक है.
Definitely a bit of, and you want to mention quickly the mixed doubles, which was disaster, frankly.
Yeah, the chance is gone there, right? Or
Yeah,
there
नहीं
is
नहीं
still
कुछ नहीं है.
any?
ना ना कुछ नहीं है. Done, done, done.
So should I sell off my ticket then?
Yes, मैंने उसी दिन बोल दिया था तेरे को sell it off.
Oh, ठीक है. Let me look into it. देखता हूँ मैं.
मतलब doubles, I'll just say mixed doubles में lot of people were surprised कि they lost so early, but मैं at least काफी टाइम से देख रहा हूँ यार कि their ranking is
हाँ.
inflated for whatever reason.
Yeah.
जितना मैंने follow किया है, they have not been impressive.
Yeah.
So
I think that was the best analysis that you've done in your 3 years of streaming career.
तूने बोला था मुझे कि इसमें you called it.
Right. So
So
yeah, वो
I
चीज
had
तो
hopes. I had
visible
hopes,
थी.
but yeah, I was not surprised what happened there.
ठीक है. On the men's side,
Men's side, तो yeah, obviously, Achanta तो है ही. He had this great performance in Singapore Smash, which basically I think assured his single spot. Otherwise, he has said in the past that he was looking to play team and not play individual. And then after that, yeah, I like the pick of Manav over Satyan. Satyan honestly has been struggling. मुझे इनफैक्ट ये भी लगता है कि मिक्स डबल्स में भी ही इज द प्राइमरी रीजन दैट दे आर नॉट बीइंग डूइंग वेल. मतलब I think his form, play, whatever you want to say, it's been on the downslide for a while. सिंगल्स रैंकिंग में भी दिखा है और मिक्स डबल्स में भी दिखा है. He was
तो
defend.
yeah, and I think Satyan का हमने पहले भी बात की है ये, like
हाँ
when he was trying to defend कि हाँ, the reason he's not performing well is he's concentrating on the mixed doubles,
yeah,
which you
which
said was a PR thing for him.
हाँ वो didn't make sense at all. And सत्यन का मैंने पहले भी आई थिंक ये कंपैरिजन किया है. मेरे को थोड़ा आई सी अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ श्रीकांत इन हिम कि वो थोड़ा बहुत जब चलता है तब चलता है, जब नहीं चलता है तब नहीं चलता है. Obviously we have talked कि श्रीकांत का high is also higher and low is also higher, but
No,
in terms of the variance,
no, dude, stop it there only. You can't compare a Satyan to Srikanth.
मतलब in terms
Sorry.
of variance, I'm not saying in terms of absolute level, I'm saying in terms of variance of best and worst, not in terms of absolute level.
Yeah. Okay. All right. On the men's side, what do you reckon? Like, who are going to pair up in Paris?
I think Harmeet and Manav ही करेंगे.
Have they done it before?
I don't know, but Manav का generally the tour का pairing is Manusha. Manav and Manush has been, and,
Manush.
and if you remember the कौन सा था, कॉमनवेल्थ था कि एशियन था? नहीं एशियन था, where they came very close to beating the Chinese ना. After that Sutilta and
Asian Games में ना?
so they came very close to
Koreans
Koreans थे. Korean
शायद.
होंगे हाँ. So they came very close to basically a medal and beating a higher ranked pair, and they just about missed out, and then Aika and Sutirtha did do it. So yeah, Manav is matlab steady player, solid player, nothing that spectacular, and yeah, the doubles में also women में I guess ज़्यादा वो pairing का factor है, maybe because of the rubbers, but I'm not too sure men में इतना. If you look at the table tennis world tour, it's not के मतलब people pair up with each other. It's a little bit tennis like, the partners keep getting changed.
Yeah.
It's not कि you have to have a very good combination and everything. But हाँ वो वुमेन में क्योंकि वो रबर का फैक्टर आता है वहाँ पे मे बी चेंज होता होगा तो I don't know. Yeah, Vasant is saying Hanmeet and Manav have paired in the past.
Half paired, yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure all of them might have paired at some point or the other in the past. But yeah, Manav का common pairing is Manusha.
Yeah.
ठीक है, चलो फिर.
ठीक है. I think we need to talk about boxing as well.
ठीक है, we should be back. Just check.
Doesn't show still. It will take. I think yeah, we are.
Yeah, back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back
Okay.
there.
Where were we?
So you were moving to boxing. We had just completed.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I think we need to talk about boxing. We have the last qualifying tournament starting, and the major thing is obviously we don't have a men's boxer qualified yet. That is where all our eyes would be if we can qualify a men's boxer. Amit is coming back to the fold after they tried Deepak twice. He could not qualify. So that is again obviously very exciting to have him back. We'll see if he can. Nishant is another boxer with whom we have some expectations that he might qualify. He's come close
Yeah.
last time but could not. Hopefully, if the draw is reasonable and in his favor, so yeah, he's one of the boxers who can. And men's में तो I don't think maybe what 57 में who is representing this time Kapil? Not
It's not
Husam, right?
Hussam. It's not Hussam. That I know for sure.
Yeah,
I
because Nishant was the only one they had retained from the Asian, not the Asian, the previous world qualifier.
previous world था कि एशियन था.
Previous वही मैं याद करने की
एशियन ही
कोशिश
था
कर
आई
रहा हूँ.
थिंक. सही बोल
Asian
रहा
ही
है तू.
था. So Asian
सही बोल रहा है
Games,
तू.
then
हाँ.
Asian qualifier, and now World qualifier.
या एशियन ही था आई थिंक. सही बोल
Okay.
रहा है. हाँ. So
Sachin. Oh, Sachin Sivach is going to be there. Vasant
yeah,
is.
that's
So yeah,
pretty good.
Sachin is a pretty good boxer. So yeah.
He's competed more than 54. I think 57 he's competing.
हाँ, but 57
हाँ
में भी I
किया है.
think हो गया है
किया है.
time अब switch
हाँ
किया
हाँ
है.
किया है, ऐसा नहीं है. एंड बॉक्सिंग में तो फिर सबसे बड़ा तो होता है, दे फायर्ड द एंटायर कोचिंग टीम और द
Yeah.
एचपीडी और व्हाटएवर आफ्टर
Yeah,
द
yeah,
फर्स्ट क्वालिफायर.
yeah. Yes.
बॉक्सिंग में मतलब यार क्वेश्चन मार्क्स तो है ही. आई मीन आज की डेट में द बॉक्सर व्हिच गिव्स मी मोस्ट कॉन्फिडेंस इज निशांत. But beyond Nishant, yeah, we'll see in the tournament only. Yeah, we haven't even
Yeah, and
competed
also
against.
Nishant does not train as such properly in the national camp fold. He comes
अच्छा
from the
ऐसा भी है क्या?
JSW academy. जितना मेरे को पता है, I mean, I remember Commonwealth Games में JSW Inspire Institute का जो head coach है from the boxing, he was giving his perspectives and takes on both Husam and Nishant, and he was the one very uh, bullish about Nishant, for the lack of better word. He's the one who has high potential. तो वहां से मेरे को पता है कि हाँ, just because he's in good hands and he has a proper team around him, so yes, one boxer we can hope for him to qualify. And yes, मतलब अमित का तो वैसे है कि from a emotional
You want him,
standpoint कि
हाँ.
कर जाता है तो अच्छा रहेगा.
I mean, I would imagine अमित की क्वालिटी तो अभी भी है ही, because ठीक है, दीपक came up short in the couple of qualifiers, but it was not like he got destroyed or anything.
Yeah.
And पहले भी मतलब this Deepak Amit selection has always been a little controversial, right? It has not been a case के evaluation में Deepak was doing much
Yeah.
better than Amit or anything. और
Yeah.
in general, that was also postulated कि अगर trial होगा तो maybe Amit only will come out on top, क्योंकि the style wise Amit works better against Deepak. So
Yeah, could have been, but we never went there. And do you know what, Kapil? I read one article in which Amit had given his interview. Among various parameters on which they were judged कि हाँ किसको हमें enter करना है team में, discipline was also one of the criteria. And Amit said that वो एक दो बार late हो गया था to reach the he could not reach at the stipulated time. तो उसको उसके लिए उसके मार्क्स उसमें भी कट गए, which was again one of the reason कि उसका overall score दीपक से कम था.
ठीक है, I'm not too
Which
sure about
I
that one.
feel is a little weird.
ये
कि
ये
अगर
थोड़ा बहुत I think stretch लगता है. This is like
हाँ मतलब you don't know the reality to it, that's fair enough, but If at all it is, so
No,
then
because
it does.
it's not just once, right? We have been selecting Deepak basically since Tokyo.
Hmm.
तो एक दो बार का late, I don't think it should matter the
But ये भी है
continuously,
ना कि
right?
it's not like they were being absolutely transparent in terms of
वो तो है
publishing the
ही, हाँ.
scores, parameters, everything.
Yeah, वो तो मैंने अभी लेटेस्ट देखा था. It is simply like coach one gave him so many points, coach two gave him so many points, coach three gave him so many points. Take an average or total, whatever you want, and that's how you're selecting. But uska breakup as to why coach is giving so many points, you don't know. And yeah, I mean, I've said earlier also, I'd rather have trials in a country like India, especially जहाँ पे ये bias and everything is never that far. And because of this only you had this situation, right? Ke you had a qualifier literally just what month and a half ago, and now
Hmm.
you basically have a completely different team going.
Yeah.
So hmm,
Yeah.
जो
And
जो trials में नहीं होता.
Amit ka ठीक है, we haven't seen the trials, but we have seen he won the Strajda.
Hmm.
How do you pronounce it? I don't know.
I think
March में जो
Stranza,
होता है, Stranja.
हाँ.
Stranja Memorial, he won that event, right?
Hmm. नहीं नहीं, so
So,
अमित का डेफिनेटली वही है कि ही इज नॉट बीन फाइटिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस, बट इट लुक्स लाइक फ्रॉम वट एवर वी आर हियरिंग द क्रेडिबिलिटी इज स्टिल देयर और द एबिलिटी इज स्टिल देयर.
hmm.
So we'll see what happens. And Sachin Sivaj has impressed. We have seen him in 54 here and there, so even that's good. 63 में कौन जा रहा है? I don't think शिवा जा रहा है, right? I'm not sure कि शिवा वापस जा रहा है.
No, even I don't think so.
I
Someone
think it
else
was
is like
uh,
63.5.
somebody else was there. And then 71 में फिर निशांति है. And okay, उसके आगे I'm not too sure
Hmm.
if we have the
Yeah, I
credibility.
don't even. I think I didn't even bother to have a look at the list. कि कौन-कौन जा रहा है.
एक तो थोड़ा वो भी है ना, they haven't competed much, तो अपने को भी ज़्यादा पता नहीं है,
Hmm.
right? अब we ठीक है, we see the names but we don't know too much because
Yeah,
there hasn't been too many competitions. And we can talk about the women also. Big shocking news about Parveen Huda, unfortunate news.
yeah.
And by the way, just I'm saying,
Your favorite Jasmine makes it
I
instead
mean,
of.
yeah, I was starting to have doubts about her after the last tournament. Uh, and by the way, even the way she made it is like, it's a very weird story, huh, Parveen Huda wali ke she made. By the way, okay, for those who don't know, this is not uncommon. ये बहुत athletes के साथ across the world हुआ है कि you have to give your whereabouts, which is you have to basically, there is a system and you have to fill out कि every day for 1 hour where you will be, so that the testers can come and test you. So that is basically the whereabouts clause, which has been in anti-doping for I think a good 10, 12 years now. I don't know, maybe more, maybe 15
That
years.
too, that too, it is applicable only for a selected set of athletes if
वो
you are
तो
a part of RTP.
वो तो
It doesn't happen with every athlete.
you can't do for everybody ना, because it's not feasible, right?
Ah, you
It's
can't do it. That's okay. I'm just trying to add to it that it's not applicable for every athlete. It is only meant for athletes who are a part of a thing called RTP,
registered
Register
system,
Testing Pool. Yeah.
which is basically like the top level athlete. So it's like if you have competed at the top level and done at a decent level, then you get added to it. If you are sort of just competing at the domestic level, haven't really compete, जैसे Sandeep Singh will not be a part of it, right? Because लोगों को पता ही नहीं कि वो कौन है, so he's not gonna be a part of that.
Sandeep Singh has also been,
Yeah,
in our doping case.
but I think that was more the Nada caught it, right? Not Vada. I think
Yeah,
Nada.
it was a local one.
हाँ, it was in so anyways, so जिसको नहीं पता है, it's very clear कि मतलब कई लोगों के साथ हुआ है. I think Christian Coleman was probably the most high profile case who had this
Hmm.
case where he
Salvait.
Salvaid Nasser is another case where they basically missed filling their information, and if you do it thrice in a year, then you get then it's essentially like a doping positive. It's treated as a doping positive if you miss filling your information thrice in 1 year. So it happened with Parveen. The shocking part there is that it happened in that April 22 to March 23 period. So it's like March 23 में the doping violation had already happened. लेकिन उसके बाद भी there was no information or whatever. She went to Asian Games in September 23, won the quota, and now at the last minute we are finding out, और replacement भी हमको 57 से नहीं डालना पड़ रहा, हमको 60 को बोलना पड़ रहा है कि 57 में जाके करो. So यार ये डोपिंग में प्रोसेस इज ना समथिंग, इट रियली मेक्स योर ब्लड बॉयल एट टाइम्स. कि ये
It
हो क्या
does,
रहा है?
but I think it's a systemic issue also, especially for our athletes. Especially Praveen के case में, obviously I don't know what the reality is, but it is understandable and relatable कि हमार because a lot of our athletes come from such backgrounds that they are not educated enough, so they don't have those technical know-how and nuances कि वो जो एक पर्टिकुलर सॉफ्टवेयर होता है या जो भी एप्लीकेशन होती है जिसमें यू नीड टू फिल योर वेयर अबाउट्स. If you have a manager with you, someone who can assist you, maybe that person will do it for you. But if you're on your own, a lot of times our athletes get into this trouble because they simply do not know how to do it, or they don't have that, I don't know,
No how.
acumen to comply to it 100%.
हाँ, but I am more angry about the fact कि ठीक है हुआ, that's one thing, but it was done in March 23. मतलब March 23, April 22 to March 23 का error है. So why was it not discovered until September 23 when she's gone and competed in Asian Games?
It could be an administrative issue considering
But
there
that
is
is
no central body,
नहीं, but
you
that is an
know.
administrative issue from Bada's point, right?
हाँ हाँ.
बाडा को अगर प्रॉब्लम रेज करना था कि शी हैज मेड अ वायलेशन, दैट शुड हैव बीन रेज्ड इन लाइक जून जुलाई व्हेनेवर, राइट? नॉट इन नाउ, मतलब
Hmm.
एक साल बाद जून जुलाई अगस्त कहीं ना कहीं तो वो रेज होना चाहिए था ना, एट दैट पॉइंट ओनली. तो बट वो भी नहीं हुआ. देन सडनली नाउ दे कम के ये तुम्हारा मिस था, इसका हम अब बैन लगाएंगे, विच इज
Hmm. But I
मतलब.
think still it is a developing story in terms of all the details, right?
हाँ हाँ, वो
So
तो है ही, बट
exactly पता नहीं है कि क्या मतलब
हुआ. बट द थिंग इज आई
हुआ.
डोंट थिंक हमको पता भी चलने वाला है, बिकॉज द दे हैव सॉर्ट ऑफ, मतलब बीएफआई ने तो सॉर्ट ऑफ अपने आप का है ना, लेट्स से दे हैव said कि we did a good job कि in getting the ban reduced from 22 months to 14 months. So they have already celebrated कि we did a good job. And वो just that ban reduced हुआ है क्योंकि it's backdated 8 months.
Yeah.
So it's like they have already celebrated that and they have given up that. Quota has officially been given up. So
चलो,
she's
but at
obviously not
least
going to Olympics.
on a positive side, at least the good thing is it the news came 10-15 days
हाँ,
before the
ये बोल
World
सकते हैं rather than
Qualifiers.
after the qualifier. हाँ.
Right, right. So,
But
yeah,
ठीक है.
अच्छा
But
है.
yeah, on the whole, women have got three quotas. Lavlina and Nikhat का तो you expected only, and Preeti also got it, and Padveen का था, but now Jasmine will have to fight back. So, but we have chances there in the women's side. Women maybe now three women are competing.
Kapil has always high hopes from Jasmine for some reason.
नहीं नहीं, I'm not saying Jasmine there. मतलब we have now three women competing. So
Yeah,
we are.
yeah. I am adding to that.
Hmm.
That
नहीं, जैस्मिन के साथ मेरी होप्स थी. आई डेफिनेटली हैड हाई होप्स. आई थिंक प्रीटी मच टिल द लास्ट क्वालिफायर द वे शी लॉस्ट, आई थॉट कि शी मिस्ड अ चांस, ऑनेस्टली स्पीकिंग.
yeah. ठीक है. If we can grab a couple of more quotas तो अच्छा
आई
ही
मीन
है. Boxing में तो it's always unpredictable.
मतलब कपल तो यार,
More the merrier.
इफ यू सिंग कपल इन वुमेन ठीक है, बट मैन में तो यार यू वांट मोर देन अ कपल एट दिस पॉइंट. मिलेंगे नहीं मिलेंगे वो टाइम बताएगा, बट या यू वुड एक्सपेक्ट मोर देन दैट.
मतलब we are in a situation right now that एक भी quota नहीं है and you want more than a couple of quotas.
या या
Okay, let's be realistic.
ठीक है, देखते हैं. I'm not saying कि मिलेंगे, but I definitely my hope is more than a couple, not just couple.
ठीक है. I think
ठीक है.
draws भी एक दो दिन में निकलने ही वाला होगा.
हाँ, आई थिंक कल से चालू ही है. इनफैक्ट आई डोंट नो निकल भी गए होंगे तो. I'll have to check.
अब सुबह मैंने देखा था there were no draws. But, देखते
ठीक है, आ भी रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है पता नहीं, बिकॉज लास्ट क्वालिफायर तो आया ही नहीं. होपफुली एटलीस्ट दे कम, स्ट्रीम एटलीस्ट होता है.
हैं. Yeah.
हम्म.
ठीक है.
ठीक है
What
भैया.
else?
यार बड़ी बड़ी
It's
चीजें तो
already
कर ली है.
12:30.
हाँ, बड़ी बड़ी चीजें तो कर ली हो, छोटी मोटी रोइंग, फेंसिंग, वो सब छोड़ दिया. तेरे को बोलना है तो बोल दे जल्दी से, बट अदरवाइज वी हैव आई
Nah,
थिंक.
I don't have anything to say. Just that मैंने इतना देखा था कि विष्णु and Netra were there in Tokyo also, and they are now repeating in Paris.
So
वो
that's rowing and
momentum
sailing.
continues. Yeah, for sailing. Yeah.
या मैंने भी रोइंग देखा था. रोइंग में मे बी वी कुड हैव गॉट अ सेकंड बोट, बट वी मिस्ड आउट. सो वी गॉट ओनली वन बोट. सेकंड बोट वुड हैव बीन नाइस, बट इट्स फाइन. सेलिंग का तो इवन आई एम नॉट टू श्योर. सेलिंग का तो इनफैक्ट जो कोटा मिला था वो भी sort of a universality type quota मिला था जितना मुझे समझ में आया था. And yeah,
तो
fencing obviously
क्या
was.
सोचा फिर, एक एक मिनट बिफोर वी जंप ऑन टू फेंसिंग,
हम्म,
क्या सोचा फिर सेलिंग का, मार्से जा रहा
मैं
है?
मैं थोड़ी जा रहा हूँ. तूने स्टेटमेंट मारा था कि यू हैड
स्टेटमेंट
प्रॉमिस.
क्या मारा था?
तूने स्टेटमेंट मारा था कि यू हैड डिसाइडेड दिस टाइम कि यू वांट टू सी द फ्रिंज स्पोर्ट्स एंड नाउ
डिड आई
तूने.
से ऑल द फ्रेंच
But
स्पोर्ट्स?
fringe sports, right? You said कि you want to take as many fringe sports as possible. I think ऐसा तेरा कुछ tweet था. And then
But
you were
you are
crying
the one who
कि
likes watching new sports, right? And
yeah,
following rules of those, and so
yeah,
go for it.
I do, but I am going to fencing even when Bhavani Devi is not there. मेरी अभी भी
Even I
टिकट
am
है.
going, so
तू जा रहा है कि तू बेच रहा है?
जाऊंगा. It's in grand pay. पहले,
ठीक
what
है.
are you
अच्छा
talking
चल,
about?
लेट मी पुट इट दैट वे. आई टुक अ टिकट जिसमें इंडिया होना ही नहीं वाला था. आई टुक अ टिकट बिकॉज मेरे शेड्यूल में वही बैठा. सो दैट इज डिफरेंट.
अच्छा, ठीक है, ठीक है. Let's get back to the sports.
हाँ
Less of
चलो.
us.
हाँ ठीक है चल. सो फेंसिंग में, या फेंसिंग ऑब्वियसली डिसअपॉइंटिंग ओनली. भवानी से उम्मीद थी. आई सॉ दैट फाइनल मैच. फाइनल नहीं, सॉरी, सेमीफाइनल.
Semi-final.
हाँ, so semi-final she came up short. She went into the qualifier as pretty much the top seed, but ठीक है, fencing में वही होता है. She had a lead also a little bit in the semis, but the I don't remember who the opponent was, but the opponent got on a bit of a run, and she eventually ended 15-12. Ending थोड़ा controversial भी था for the who did
She
not
was
watch.
not happy with the result.
नहीं, so end में क्या हुआ था, I'll tell you. So she was trailing 14-12, and the way fencing works is whoever gets to 15 first is the winner. तो 15-14 पे भी it ends. 15-14 के भी आगे नहीं जाएगा. So she was 14-12. She needed 3 points in a row, and Bhavani basically thought she got a touch right in the chest. So she thought कि she got a touch, and she basically stopped fighting. So she stopped fighting कि हो गया, and then she saw कि light जली नहीं है. So she was like, there's some problem in equipment. So then they checked the equipment. Equipment looked proper. दो तीन बार उसने वापस मार के देखा, and the light was coming. And then apparently the rule is that because she stopped fighting, the point automatically goes to the opponent, and that happened on basically match point. So and they even checked the replay. So they checked the replay, they checked the light again, and she was very sure that she got a hit, but वहाँ पे वो hit register हुआ नहीं. So maybe she didn't get it. Replay भी उन्होंने देखा, where they say कि maybe the hit is not there. So maybe she just got overexcited. And then as per the rules, the deciding point went to her. So it was sort of a sad, controversial ending that way.
Yeah, and even Karan came close.
हाँ,
Obviously, final was nowhere close.
करण का तो वही था यार कि it's like I was surprised seeing a Chinese fencer in the tournament itself. Somehow China did not.
Surprised as in because
China
they had
didn't
not
qualify.
qualified earlier.
Yes, China didn't qualify through other means, which was team and ranking and whatever. So honestly, Udal, the moment I saw it as a Chinese fencer in there, I was worried only. And then the final
Yeah.
sort of showed it. And उसके बाद फिर है ना, वैभव ने बहुत हाथ पैर मारे कि somehow यूनिवर्सलिटी कोटा से पहुंचा दो, कुछ कर दो, ये कर दो, मेरी टिकट है. मेरे से बहुत काम कराया. एंड हमेशा मैं बोल देता था नहीं भैया कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. क्या साले तू कभी अच्छी न्यूज नहीं दे सकता.
Yeah, so essentially what Kapil is talking about is there is an option of universality quotas also, which the criteria there is that, I mean, there's a set criteria that it can go only to
Small nations
smaller
basically.
countries, let me put it that way.
Hmm.
And in fencing, the situation is France has almost 8 host quotas, 6 or 8 quotas, I think 6.
They had
Saber
six.
में it would be 6 host
नहीं
quotas,
नहीं, सो हाँ, सो दो यूनिवर्सलिटी कोटा एनीवेज थे. And then
and
France had
6 of
six
host
host
quotas,
quotas, which all came to universality.
which all came to universality. And if universality, all of 8 universality quotas do not get fulfilled, then they'll get to the ranking quotas,
Hmm.
right? So Kapil essentially checked if, let's say, ranking quotas में वो shift होते हैं, do we stand a chance there also? But I think that is again we have a bad news. But Kapil, we don't know how many universality quotas are going to be accepted or not, right?
Yeah, but
ये
doesn't
भी
matter.
कहाँ पता है हमें?
But doesn't matter, na. Even if all the eight, or by the way, eight is across six events, huh? Are okay, Weber has again left the meeting. I don't know if he's. Hope he's gonna come back. But yeah, in general, so eight is also like across events. Eight is not in one event. So eight, there are like three men's weapons and three women's weapons. और वैसे फिर मिला जुला के eight है. So yeah, it doesn't quite work. So yeah, Bhavani Devi is done in fencing. And yeah, Weber is saying his system has shut down. So I think we were anyways ending. I think Weber फिर मैं end ही कर दूँ, right? I'm not waiting for you क्योंकि हम खत्म ही कर रहे थे. So I'll just ठीक है. Fine, मेरी आवाज़ के साथ ही end कर लो. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for joining. We tried to cover everything. I think we missed out on hockey again. Hockey में India Australia was definitely a bit of a letdown. But yeah, ठीक है. Maybe in a future stream we can consider hockey. But yeah, hockey एक miss हो जाता है हम लोग का हमेशा. And yeah, उसके अलावा thanks a lot for joining even after missing the IPL match. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon. So yeah, bye bye. Good night.